Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Pick a Side podcast. My name is Joel Moran and I'm here with River Brown, Andrew Velez, and John Tortorelli. This is now episode 572. I'm excited because we're going to predict the rest of the NBA playoffs along with what teams we believe will make a 3-2 series comeback.
Cool.
We know it won't be the Hawks. We're recording this at a time where the Knicks are up by 50. At halftime, they're up by 50. Dyson Daniels got ejected.
Mitchell Robinson
elbowing
largest
Mitchell Robinson.
Halftime of all time.
Sheesh.
Unbelievable.
I mean, great way to close out the series. I do say so myself.
On the road,
Some
too.
people doubted.
Yeah, to do that at home, to
Who?
put on a stinker
That's
like
what
that.
I'm saying, right?
Rip said the perfect thing before this. Like, what do you tell your team as the coach? Down by 49 in the middle of the second quarter.
You can't even say good season.
You doubted the Knicks.
Needed a wild card pick.
Should have been the Lakers.
Wasn't really a wild card pick.
What do you mean? Nobody thought we'd win.
That's my point, though. Like, come on, y'all niggas was hurt. Like, it was really would have been out of, like, if you're not a fan, it's like out of the moon pick. Even if just Reeves was
Playing better
playing.
without him.
Yeah, he also re-aggravated he had an ankle injury in the middle of that game, too. Not that he played particularly perfectly.
He got
9
fried by
turnovers.
Did you guys know, technically, statistically, Houston kind of plays better without KD anyways?
Yes, the on and off numbers are slightly better.
They just have very little depth having him in the lineup.
I saw that shit on Twitter.
But it's interesting because we're going to talk about teams that can maybe make a 3-2 comeback. The Rockets are in that position right now. They were down 0-3. LeBron being the first player to ever blow something like that, I don't think it happens.
Play game 6 first.
He's one of the greatest ever. I mean, it's LeBron James. I don't think it happens. But man, that would be like, is that legacy defining where if he loses that, you can't put him over Michael Jordan?
I feel like when you get to a certain age, bro, I don't care what you do after the fact. I feel like LeBron, Steph, KD, like they're kind of at that point.
Compare MJ at 41 to LeBron at 41.
Yeah, like,
Get back.
bro, these niggas be old, bro.
The good thing is that we're not gonna have to worry about that.
No, LeBron is the GOAT.
I don't know,
He's
bro.
not gonna lose.
It's not like you guys have been like completely dominating them.
We forgot how to shoot the basketball.
They've
gone disgusting.
Yeah, shooting variants. They're
It's
shooting the
interesting.
highest
My
clip.
goat, Luke Kennard. What the
Yeah.
hell?
Yeah.
John, what did you do?
That's role players.
You put the
for you.
kibosh on him.
Role play variants. Yeah, I don't know.
You put the fucking kibosh on him.
Me?
Now he's cooked.
I'll be
He
alright.
took his voodoo
It's
doll. and
funny because John was praising Luke Kennard. He was saying, "Yo, Luke Kennard is one of my favorite players. He knows how to get buckets. Knows how to shoot from deep." And now he's totally switched his tone. You don't even believe in Luke Kennard anymore.
I don't know where
I mean, now, the last 3 games, you have some validity.
Now, if you guys lose this one in Houston,
I'm fine.
No, I'm playing. John is not a Kennard guy. He's a
I'm
John
straight up.
Conchar
We lose
guy.
game 6. It's at home. They're at home. It is what it is.
they have
Just like Kennard.
LeBron's not losing game 7.
they have all the momentum in the world, though.
LeBron in a game 7.
Okay.
Like, that's what I'm falling back on. Like, absolute worst case scenario,
Uh-huh.
I get to watch LeBron in game 7,
Okay.
which I never thought I'd see again.
You know, if he loses Game 7, he probably retires.
That I understand where you're coming from. Like, I guess that is an outcome.
I'd probably hang it up.
possibility.
You know what I'm saying? Like, just like
maybe 0.01%. Like, that is.
well,
a
we have to get to
possibility.
Game 7 first. You know, but it is Game 6 in Houston. They played really good at home.
Game 4.
They played good Game 4.
No, they did.
Game 3, they played good. They just fucking gagged.
It was a
I'm not gonna lie.
all-time gagger.
LeBron can't become the first player to ever blow a 3-0 series.
He would be the first.
If he is the first, it would be the first team to ever blow.
Oh,
a
shit.
3-0 series.
I can't
Heat
believe
were
this-
dangerously close.
With
to
Boston,
doing it in
right? Boston,
2023.
yeah, yeah,
If
yeah.
Tatum doesn't get
messes his
hurt,
ankle up,
they
yeah.
probably end up.
If
blowing
the
it.
Lakers lose, I don't care what you say, dude. That's a stain on the resume. That is a stain on the
fucking 40.
resume. It's still a stain on the resume.
LeBron blew a 3-0 lead at 41 years old. He's not better than MJ.
Against a team that motherfuckers was calling ass.
But if you
Let's
thought-
stop
if-
acting like we was
but if you
propping
thought-
up the Rockets.
If you thought LeBron was better last year before, like better than MJ last year before that, this shouldn't change your
3
view.
games into the series, we're over here talking about the Rockets are sorry. They need to trade Şengün. What does Jabari do? What does Tari Eason do? A man can't shoot. People were
last
talking
night
crazy
was
on how
those
sorry the
threes.
Rockets were.
That was awesome Game 3
So
and
we
4.
can't have it both ways where if they come back and win, it's now.
No, we're gonna shit on the
he's
Lakers.
41.
Stop pretending like they're gonna come back and win.
It can happen. It can happen.
They have to play Game 6 first, and Game 6 is going to be very tight. The Rockets are at home, sad.
They played
They're a
better
short
at
job
home.
away from being up 3-2. They completely blew game
Like
3.
again, that statement is it's whatever to me because they came out with totally different energy game 4 because they blew game 3. Back against the wall game 4. You tell me they
But
win.
if they
game
win
3,
game 3, they probably come out with
They're
bigger
at
energy
home
game
still,
4.
and they have a better chance.
I don't know
about
that. Like I don't know. I don't know that. I don't know.
It can't be just.
Season was quite literally on the line. Game 4, play good at home.
But it was on the
or
line
go
game
home.
3 too.
There was no pressure in game 4, but game 3 they completely blew away. If you win that game in game 4, there's a real feeling that you can still win that series. In game 4, it's let's not go out with our tails between our legs.
And they didn't. Shout out to them.
But that would be the same thing for game 5 too. It's just like, all right, let's just go.
But the Lakers could have played more desperate in game 4 too.
Fair.
That's like the whole thing is one sided.
So did you play desperate in game 5?
I think so. We lost.
Huh? Well, you'd be desperate in Houston.
No, for sure. Now we want to close the series out.
This series is now getting to a point where I thought it was when the series first started.
Oh shit!
I didn't think Houston was ass at all. They were playing like it, but I didn't think they were completely garbage.
No, I think we all thought they were ass. They were just playing an unhealthy Lakers.
I mean, I was expecting Alperen Şengün to play better. I was expecting Amen Thompson to play better. So their performances the last 2 games have been inspiring. Houston has a shot, especially with the Lakers role players who were shooting the ball at a very high level, coming down to earth. We don't like Luke Kennard, what he did the first 2 games. We don't know if that is for sure going to happen again. Maybe it can. I think the Austin Reeves return has affected that because it's affected the team's rhythm somewhat. So that's something that the Lakers are playing with. And also, Austin Reeves, he doesn't play well in the playoffs. It's been a while since Austin Reeves has actually been great in the playoffs.
It's an unfortunate
First game back.
It's an unfortunate tale. That being said,
he don't got time to ramp up either.
He doesn't. He did
He's
struggle
thrown to the
yesterday.
fire immediately.
He
Against
is,
Amen
yeah.
Thompson. Good luck.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're throwing an all-league defender his
Yeah.
first moment back.
Hey,
And
listen.
Amen's really well designed. He's better designed to defend Austin Reeves in isolation than chase Luke Kennard around on the perimeter.
Hey, listen. A dog gonna be a dog no matter what environment he in.
We're gonna be all right.
You know what
I'm
saying?
not
That's a
stressing.
fucking bar too.
I'm not.
Maybe JC wasn't wrong after all. If they rattle 4 straight wins here,
You know, it's funny. Charles said that to me. He said if they do go 4 wins in a row, you have to give him his money back. I'm
Dead
like,
ass.
okay.
That's valid.
I was never gonna take his money in the first place.
That's also a fact. If
He
they do
said
come
that
back
he
for shit,
just-
that's fucking
after
nuts.
they went down 3-0, he didn't feel right.
Nah, he fake.
Not
Actually,
giving you
no,
money.
you can't give him his money back because it's all without KD regardless.
Yeah.
He was always thinking KD.
Mm-hmm.
So if KD would have played, that was their worst game.
It's true.
So now
They
No,
won
game
every
one was the
game
worst.
without KD.
Bro.
It's pretty interesting.
Game 1 is bad.
The theory that teams are better without KD continues to prevail.
What'd you say?
Game 1 was the Rockets' worst game.
I don't know. I think the one with KD was.
I don't know. You know,
They're
both of them
both-
were both of them.
Game
were
Really
1 and Game 2
disheartening.
were both atrocious showings from the Rockets.
Yeah, they were both shitty. But it
Game
didn't even
2
matter,
was
man.
more so game plan oriented, where it's like you still can't beat a double. That's how it felt like to me.
Both games were bad. I don't like. It's a matter of inches in which was worse because both were terrible.
So I want to just say this before we get into the show. We're gonna also talk about football. Now that the draft is over, we got to start hitting those football topics even harder. Releasing receiver rankings, quarterback rankings, ranking teams' defenses, offenses, all that good stuff. We're not gonna do that all today, but we will talk about certain teams today, teams that we think improved the most in the offseason. But I wanted to tell the audience that make sure to join the Discord if you want to. I'm going to drop the link to the public. The Patreon is for if you want the extra episodes every other week, 2 episodes a month that you're getting. Next week, we will record Patreon once again. We had to stop recording it for like a week and a half. So next week, we will be back on Patreon and on YouTube memberships. If you are a YouTube member, shout out to you guys.
Facts.
And every week, I will be giving away a couple Pick a Side shirts.
Nice.
And the best comment that makes any of us laugh, you can receive it. You could win a shirt.
Are we supposed to like tell you which one made us laugh?
No, we're gonna round table choose the best comment each
Okay.
episode.
And we will also highlight your comment on the next podcast. If it's Patreon exclusive, I mean, tough luck. You know, you got to go to the Patreon to get it. But we will highlight the top comments, the ones that make us laugh. And if there's more than a couple that make us laugh, more than a couple of you guys are going to win a free Pick a Side t-shirt. We'll cover the shipping. It's all on us. Don't worry about it. We appreciate you for supporting the podcast and support Polymarket. You can use code PAS26 for a free $20. And it's important that you use our code because Polymarket, it's not yet available to everybody in the U.S.
An access
unless you have the access code. So our code PS26 is for you to access Polymarket and make your predictions on the application. Just like we're going to make our predictions on these NBA playoffs. And let's get right into it. I don't know what you guys want to do first.
Because obviously Boston and Philly's on the TV right now. What's the conversations if they blow it? Because this is supposed to be the favorite in the East.
And it was a 3-1 comeback?
Yeah. What's the conversation? This Embiid comes back. They play. I don't think they played good the first game he comes back, but the next game they play really good, play sound. They won game 2, I believe, in Boston. Won the last game. What's the conversations if this team chokes it? Because Philly is one of those teams where they kind of have been an up and down team all year, dealing with a ton of injuries, lack of role players, and they get Embiid back, who hasn't played in weeks, and they come out and just win 3 straight games. That'd be pretty,
Yeah, I just can't see it happening. I'll never count Philly in an elimination game.
Well, yeah,
I think that's super fair.
That's definitely valid.
The truth is, though, this was always a matchup Joel Embiid was going to have his way with.
Yeah.
I never thought Joel Embiid on the court, he was going to play bad. This is just a matchup in heaven for him. No Al Horford. The best matchup you have to go up against is a smaller Kata and older Vucevic. It was a easy, written in the stars matchup for him to thrive, which is why I was so bummed that he missed the first few games. I really thought that this would be a strong series and kind of his reminding of the world, hey, I'm still one of the game's best that we have. He comes back a little bit later, and he's still showing that, and they're showing some strong fight. We'll know the result of the winner of this game, and we'll see if there's a Game 7, if the series ends tonight. I'm rooting for a Game 7, just good basketball. But also, Philadelphia, when healthy, they are a really, really strong, respectable basketball team. And that's not to take away anything from the Celtics, too. I think that they are a great basketball team, too. This was always, to me, a good matchup. It just was without Joel Embiid. I couldn't see it going Sixers' way. With Joel Embiid, I still think Game 7, closing it out in the Garden, is going to be tough for Philadelphia to do. I'm still going to side with the Celtics here, but it's a tough matchup for Celtics, honestly.
They've won more games in the Garden.
I think they are. Is it 2?
They won last game in TD and then game 2.
You're right,
in TD.
bro. They did go 3-1.
Yeah,
You're 100% right.
They've won more games in TD.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because we'll start with that first. What teams do you believe will make a 3-2 comeback? Right now, the Knicks have advanced to the second round, all but advanced. They're blowing out Atlanta, so we don't have to get on that. We talked about Houston and the Lakers. We can talk about them in a bit. The Sixers and Celtics, you guys don't see it.
God willing, Joel Embiid stays healthy. I'm giving the Sixers a puncher's chance because he's been playing great basketball, and it's relieving some pressure off of Maxey, who feels like he's been trying to find his footing in the series slowly but surely. It's tough matches for him, truthfully. He's getting guarded by some of the game's best perimeter defenders. But on top of it, it's just a matter of getting Joel Embiid staying on the court. To me, that's the difference. I still would take Boston in that Game 7. At home, it's tough.
I can definitely see Philly closing it out here in Game 6, but I'm in a similar line of thinking in the sense where it's been a complete 9-day difference having no Embiid versus bringing Embiid back into the lineup, but I just have so much trust in Boston's offense is playing a lot better in Game 7, and even then, I feel like tonight's game, it's 29-30 right here in the second quarter. I would slightly favor Boston to win, just have a little more faith and a little more trust in that offense specifically.
The Celtics have shown a lot of dominance early on in the series. The Sixers showing a lot of fight to come back and even make it a 3-2 series. If anything, this has just shown me the Celtics' flaws. Derrick White has not shot the basketball well. He's shooting the basketball awful in his first round series against Philly. In the regular season, he didn't shoot the ball well at all. But it doesn't matter because Darko, BPM on off all has superstar level impact.
Hey, his defense is impactful.
I know what my eyes are seeing, and he can't stay in front of Maxey.
He's just a bad offensive player right now. And Maxey's one of the twitchiest guards in basketball.
He's
not an elite point of attack defender.
It's not what made him an elite level defender.
It's not right now. Tatum and Brown were just hiding
of the Boston Celtics. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, those are the two that you trust. Outside of that, who else do I trust on the Boston Celtics? Their center rotation isn't good. Payne Pritchard can be streaky, but I'll give him one thing. He knows how to hit buzzer beaters at the end of quarters.
That is
At the end of
That's so
halves.
rude.
wildly disrespectful.
No, it's a
He's a
very
hooper.
obscure skill. He
it's
can hit them.
obscure, but like
It
he
swings
It's
momentum.
a basketball
dog.
skill because when you play great defense for 22 seconds,
First of all, his
and
one-on-one
Payne
offense
Pritchard-
is sex on
and
the
then Payne
screen.
Pritchard was able to get a shot up in a phone
On
booth,
anybody,
and
yeah.
immediately it changed the possession because for a defense it's demoralizing to play great for 22
I mean,
seconds.
on offense, he's their third best player.
And then he drills a 29-foot bomb.
Pritchard
But I
is an
disagree
awesome
with you.
player. It's just that he's small, and defensively, that's where he's going to have the most trouble. And is also, if you have a lengthier wing on him who has the agility to stay in front, it limits his game. And then the depth.
Can you really
their
put
bench,
that on them though? Can you put a lengthy wing on him while you have Tatum and Brown?
You can try. The Knicks can.
I'm just
put
asking, like,
some-
is there a team right now that you have Knicks?
in the Knicks? I think we
With
can.
Josh Hart?
potentially. Yes, Josh Hart, or you put Josh
He's
Hart on
frying
one of
him.
those two,
On
on
who?
Tatum or Brown,
They're
and then
they're
you put
getting
Mikel
fried.
on Payne.
They're getting fried.
Or you're probably gonna They're probably gonna fry regardless unless it's OG.
Yeah.
yeah.
So that
Niggas wanna kill
OG is the
Mikel.
only lockdown defender. Josh Hart gives you length. Mikel gives you length as well. So
But again,
those two
also-
can guard whoever.
I understand where you come from, and I'll let you speak. I apologize.
Yeah, we even put Cat on Tatum last year in the playoffs, and it worked.
It's just the switching that can happen regardless. We saw what happened with CJ McCollum this series. It's just they're going to find that switch onto Brunson. Pritchard can score on Brunson pretty comfortably.
I guess so. I mean, I think Pritchard is a good player, but if he's your third player that you're relying on in the postseason, I don't think you're making the NBA Finals. I don't think the Celtics have the center depth. Derrick White's playing like absolute trash offensively. They don't have the bench players, are young and inexperienced. And Tatum is
Defense.
still very well coming off a ruptured Achilles injury. He shot the ball well against Philly. That doesn't mean he's going to shoot the ball well against a better defensive team in the Knicks because they have those two wings in Mikel and OG. But I will give a lot of credit to Paul George because he's defended really well in this series. This has shown me Boston's weaknesses more than anything else. And that's why I will preview the rest of the playoffs later on in the show. I still believe that they will win the series against Philadelphia, but you can't count it out because of Joel Embiid's brilliance. Joel Embiid, for him to be injured coming to the playoffs after getting surgery on his appendix and then drop a 30 ball and be one of the main catalysts to why you win a playoff game, it's remarkable. It reminds me of dating back to an old playoff series in 2011, Brandon Roy, his last legs, he absolutely torched Dallas in game 4 of the playoffs and hit a buzzer beater. Joel Embiid is better now than Roy was then. Roy was legitimately on his last legs at that point of his career. Embiid still has a lot left in the tank. When he plays and he's healthy, he's an all-NBA performer. Clearly, he's still that level of talent. And like you said, Boston has no matchup for him. So if this goes 7, this is a dangerous place to be in for Boston. It is.
I disagree in a sense that there are some younger players in this Boston supporting cast, but they're still getting great energy from some of these players like a Baylor Shireman. And Neemias Queta has some limitations defensively, whether it's on the perimeter we're seeing tonight and really throughout this entire series when Embiid's on the floor. He's not as good of a defender as Horford or Porzingis, but he's still a good offensive big in this system. So when you look at an Eastern Conference where Cleveland's been playing with their food, they almost went down 3-2 last night. The Knicks are a team that is still a little bit vulnerable, and the Pistons are down 3-2 to Orlando without Franz Wagner being healthy. The Celtics, to me, are still the best team in the Eastern Conference, and the team I had the most trust in, not only because of their starting lineup and some of these younger players playing well, but also Joe Mazzulla as well. I mean, this is a team that won almost 60 games this year without Tatum for the majority of the season. Even if he's 85% of what he is, I feel like his processing's been sharp, and he's going to have another series to kind of work his way back and get into rhythm here.
Yeah, Philly's hooping right now. They're playing a really good game defensively. They've been locked in. They're hitting some tough shots too. I think for me, what was not troubling for Boston, but if last game you saw Tatum and Brown kind of be no-shows in the fourth, and when you get performances like that, you're not going to win. I think as long as these two guys show up, which they're playing well right now, obviously Jaylen Brown's in foul trouble, but Tatum's been playing all right. You just got those two playing at a good role, at a good way, and you got your role players, whether it's Queta. It's going to be a commute. It's not going to be the same guys every night. Sometimes it might be Baylor. Sometimes it's going to be Vooch. Sometimes it's going to be Hauser. Sometimes it's going to be White, Pritchard. Like it's for right now what they have right now. They have a couple guys which on some nights can contribute, other nights they can. So it's going to be a committee thing. But I think they still do in the East, where the East is truly a crapshoot right now where, like you mentioned, Detroit's down, Franz injured, so you don't know how that's going to look for Orlando. New York just beat Atlanta. Then you got the Cavs. They pulled out a win finally against a team like Toronto, but still, that's a team that if Donovan Mitchell is not playing well, it's a team that cannot get far. Boston still feels like that team I guess you can trust a little bit, but I still like New York. I still think New York in that series could make it tough. I still think Cleveland can make it tough because right now, all these teams have been sporadic. All these teams have given you that inconsistent vibe where you don't know who to trust. Like, I know they have the history, they have the past experience, but this is a new year. This is a different roster. I think before you had Drew, you had Marcus Smart, you had Porzingis. You don't really have that same veteran-like experience, those same type of role players that you had before. Derrick White obviously is still here, but this is probably his worst season offensively. So that's a guy who, defensively, you know what you're going to get every night, but offensively, he's not that same guy. So I think right now they're in Philly. Philly can make this really, really, really interesting. I think I'm rooting for Philly because obviously it's more parity. But Boston, I understand the sentiment of feeling like they still are the best team in the East. But I don't think there is a best team in the East right now. I think every team right now is trying to find their way and they're trying to, find what works for them.
I'm not going to say I dislike what's happening, but it's been pretty interesting to watch this playoffs where in years past, I feel like in early series, we kind of get a good gauge of who the better teams are. And more often than not, they do end up coming out victorious. This first round has been
on the East side fire, bro.
A question mark across the board outside of obviously OKC and the Spurs, which have been two of the more comfortable of the teams that we were coming into this playoffs. But the Nuggets versus Minnesota, I thought it'd be a closer series, but the Nuggets look significantly worse than I imagined. The Lakers versus the Rockets. Rockets look significantly worse than I imagined. In this series, this one I kind of had a little bit of an inclination Philly would be better than what people had thought, but people thought that they would breeze through them. Detroit, people thought they would breeze through Orlando. And I think that it heightens what a game plan of a 7-game series does and shows you about teams, what it reveals about teams. You talk about the weaknesses that you've seen from this Celtics-Sixers series. I can say the same thing about Detroit. More obvious. We've known that their offense has been a strong lack of concern. Now we question their physicality. When you go up against a team that's more physical than they are, which very few teams have shown that this year, that they can go out there and they, for majority of the series, look like the better team. They have the better player. That's obvious. We know Kate Cunningham's the better player. Last night, Paolo and Kate put on a show, really special to watch. But in a 7-game series, physicality matters a drastic amount. And in this NBA playoffs, I feel like we've watched a strong amount of parity and a lot of game planning. And I feel like it's heightened. I feel like people don't acknowledge what coaches mean as much. But we're starting to see it a lot more, especially in this playoffs, this first round. And I'm not going to say I've enjoyed this first round thoroughly, all of these series. I should say majority of them.
The only series in the first round that has an asterisk to it is the Nuggets and the Timberwolves series because of all the injuries Minnesota's battling. You lose Anthony Edwards, you lose Dante DiVincenzo. Ayo is now not playing in Game 6. And the odds reflect that on Polymarket because on Polymarket, the public believes that Minnesota has a 41% chance to win this series, which means everybody is taking the Denver Nuggets to complete their third 3-1 comeback in the Jokic and Murray era and advance to the second round and face the San Antonio Spurs. Now, I will say this, maybe we can talk about this series somewhat. I don't know if any of you guys are going to have Minnesota winning. They just need to win one.
They could win tonight, and then by the time this is out, the audience will
You're right.
know.
But let's just look ahead. Does it even matter that Minnesota is hurt to this degree if Denver goes into the second round and then beats San Antonio?
No, doesn't matter.
They have to get there first. And it's funny, my tone's going to be a total 180 from our post-game 1 reaction because the Nuggets have played like absolute dog shit this entire series. Pardon my French, but it's been inexcusable. And it starts with Nikola Jokic. It does not start with the injuries. Defensively, we saw him play horrendous in the regular season. And I didn't sit up here and say nothing because I was waiting for him to raise his level of effort in the postseason. And it was worse in the first 4 games. And you guys know me. I have been a staunch Nikola Jokic fan because he's my favorite player in NBA history. And I hold him to such a high bar that when I see him defending the way that he did in the first 4 games, it was inexcusable because anytime they got past, which they did every single possession, the first line of perimeter defense, Nikola Jokic wouldn't even move. It's not like he's physically incapable of offering resistance at the rim. Riv, he doesn't move.
Yeah,
and we saw in
sometimes
game 5. And we saw in game 5 when he put the effort in, he was offering resistance at the rim.
Yep.
Nikola Jokic is one of the strongest players in the NBA. He has one of the best wingspans. He has the physical tools to defend. But in those first 4 games, we saw him put in 0 effort defensively. And then offensively, we're seeing that he's still probably working through this wrist issue on his right shooting hand because Rudy Gobert has played his best defensive basketball. And one-on-one, they haven't had to send any doubles because Rudy has been,
Locked
for the
in.
entirety of the series, incredible on Jokic. And I say all of that because of the fact, coming in the series, I had the Nuggets winning 6 games. And I feel like, yeah, we could all just say, oh, Minnesota just lost Dante DiVincenzo to a torn Achilles. Ant's out. Ayo's out tonight. That's great and all, but Jaden McDaniels has been excellent too on Jamal Murray. So for Denver, it's a wake-up call, not only for those 2 stars, but we have seen a cultural shift over the last year since they fired Michael Malone, where this team defensively has not had the same level of attention to detail. They have not had the same intensity. And the regular season, it's fine because they're sleepwalking their way to 54 wins, the same way they did in that 2023 season. And a lot of people are hesitant to see if they can go on a championship run, which they did. But I feel like with David Adelman, the players have not played with the same level of intensity defensively. And then paired alongside with that is the fact that you're out with Payne Watson. He was supposed to come back at some point in the series. He's not going to play until round 2 if you're able to get there. And then it's just been frustrating as well that Aaron Gordon has had to deal with these nagging hamstring issues, and he's doing his best to play out there, but in reality, he shouldn't be. And he couldn't even finish game 4 damn near because he couldn't even jog. So it's frustrating to see all these role players in Denver and Minnesota hurt, but the biggest thing for me has just been the fact that I felt like watching Nikola Jokic, it was not until they fell down and lost 3 straight games that they decided to actually care in the series. And that is incredibly frustrating when you know if they get Payne Watson back in the next round, this Nugget team is good enough to beat Oklahoma City, and they're good enough to beat San Antonio. But when you're getting, Ayo has been incredible. When you're getting outplayed by Ayo and Rudy Gobert, I think that's a huge letdown. So Denver's got to take care of business, and I'm not holding out anything because Minnesota has simply been the better team so far in this series.
The only reason why what's so funny, Riff? I don't know what's so funny. I need it explained to me.
You have to enlighten me here.
Oh man,
The Nuggets genuinely have John
Shit.
pissed off.
yo, John.
And you know what? Deservedly so. Understandably so. What the Nuggets have shown this series is disgusting.
Mm.
It's disappointing more than anything, truthfully, especially for a guy who should have been 4-time MVP, NBA champion, one of the game's best centers. For him to look the worst he's ever looked
Analytical darling.
against a guy who has historically not showed up against Jokic, historically, right? Yo, brother, I have 40 points against you. Switch off.
550.
But the last 2 times they've met up, Rudy Gobert in the playoffs has won that battle, I'd argue. This time, without a doubt, I'm giving Rudy Gobert the edge. And when you talk about asterisk, 100%. Will it matter if they beat San Antonio? No, it won't. It won't. But this series, Minnesota, unfortunately, they have to take a moral victory here. And you know, I don't often believe in those. But this is one of those special cases where no Anthony Edwards, no Dante DiVincenzo, Sumu goes and gives you 40 points on your noggin, and you go and you lose that game. The Nuggets, for people who thought they were title favorites, though they were going to win the title, those are the people that should feel disappointed and betrayed by Denver. Because right now what they're showing you is that they don't really care about basketball. They're getting a blessing. They're getting absolutely given a miracle that they're able to move on to the next round and dance because they have been outplayed 95% of this series when it mattered.
This is the first time since Detroit came back down 3-1 against Orlando in the early 2000s.
Talk.
2006.
Where
Who they played?
they played
Detroit.
Detroit.
Orlando.
Who was on that team? T-Mac here.
Yeah, Tracy McGrady.
And
Yes.
That was
your
when
favorite coach.
Doc
Doc
Rivers.
Rivers.
That was my
Yucky.
T-Mac infamous.
This
day
is the first
celebrated
series
on
since
second
that
round.
series where it feels like the team that is down 3-1 isn't an underdog. Denver not winning this series would be embarrassing. Even though they were down 3-1, it would still be embarrassing.
100%.
The only thing I disagree with you on, John, is about Jokic's defense. It's always been this bad.
In 2023, it was not this bad. He
2023
has the
wasn't
physical
this.
tools to be a very fine defender and a good one at times.
Last year he was pretty ass.
John,
He honestly, we can call 2023 his Anthony Davis bubble year in
It was
defense.
dead
Him and Marc Gasol physically are almost identical. Marc
Marcus played
Gasol
in
is
a
a
different- he
defensive
played in a
player
different
of
era.
the year.
He played in a different era.
And Marc Gasol is a defensive player of the
He
year.
played in a different
Jokic
era.
and Marc Gasol.
Physically, they're almost identical.
Marc Gasol moves better laterally. That's the big
They
difference
also played
between
in
the
a
two.
different era, guys.
Jokic is capable of moving laterally. I just don't think he cares.
2022, Chris
That's a
Paul.
problem, though.
That's why I'm aggravated. That's not
He's
true
also
down to
really
3-1.
just tired. And
But
lazy,
truthfully,
man.
he has shown you great defense, good defense. Wrong word.
I've seen more bad
Good
defense
defense.
from Jokic.
Easily. But that's what I'm saying. Anthony Davis shot the 3-ball good one time.
Sometimes, lightning
He had
strikes.
a run. I'll
In
give him
20 in
2023. I
2020
won't take it away from him. He was not bad defensively.
In 2021, when the Suns made the NBA Finals, Chris Paul hunted Jokic and averaged 26 points and 10 assists per game, primarily off of pick and roll drop coverage and just hitting that mid-range
was
shot
a
off of Jokic.
Incredible mid-range shot maker.
In that, no, he was. In the
That shit
2023
was
run,
nuts. First of all,
in the
PG
first
defense was
round,
so bad.
Anthony Edwards averaged 30.
Yeah.
In the second round, Devin Booker was putting up Michael Jordan-like numbers before he tweaked his ankle. And
My-
then in the Western Conference Finals, I felt like the Lakers played well offensively. The
But
Denver
what
Nuggets
does that
have
have to
always
do
been
with Jokic?
the
My
Denver Nuggets have always been an
disagreement.
average defense,
Yeah.
and players have some of their best playoff series when they play Denver's defense.
Jokic is not a good defender in space. What I'm speaking about is when someone has a line drive to the rim and Nikola Jokic does not move, or he pretends to take a charge and offers zero resistance, barely gets a contest up. It's simply sliding in front of somebody and offering resistance. And he was doing absolutely none of that through the first 4 games. Guarding Chris Paul in space, switching out into a Steph Curry or Klay Thompson, that 2022 series was the worst. That's entirely different than actually putting a modicum of effort at the rim. Two totally different things.
I think the big difference is there's no KCP. There's no perimeter defender that is reliable enough. Christian Brown is not that. Aaron Gordon is dealing with an injury, and Jamal Murray's not that either.
Payne wants
I
that
think
too.
I think the difference is in
Facts, they
the
need him.
perimeter
Facts.
defense has changed and has regressed. So it's now opened our eyes to how easy it is to score on Jokic at the rim.
It's exacerbated, no doubt about it. And people call it so many different types of things, the lack of effort by Jokic. But to me, I just think it comes down to him being lazy up until he loses 3 straight games, and then he puts the effort in. You saw that in Game 5 where it's like, oh, okay, Game 5 where it's like, okay, when he's actually putting the effort in, he's a fine defensive player. The other very big issue, and I put these things off into the playoffs because I gave Denver a little bit of benefit of the doubt, is that in the regular season, they treated Cameron Johnson like Michael Porter Jr. They used him as a spot-up shooter, a stationary player, and that was not who Cam Johnson was in Brooklyn. He's someone who can handle the ball. He's somebody that can create. He can run pick and roll. And because they have no one else who can really handle and kind of relieve Jamal Murray of those duties, he's wearing out because every possession he has to be the one to take the ball up the court. And it's aggravating because you didn't just trade Michael Porter Jr. You attached a first-round pick unprotected to get Cam Johnson. And what do you know in the postseason? It hasn't been up until Game 5 that they start to use him just a little bit with the ball in his hands. And that's another indictment on the coaching staff because you should know your personnel. And they simply did not until they had their back against the wall. But I've been really underwhelmed with the offensive infrastructure and the lack of diversity. Like beyond the Jokic or Murray pick and roll, when they haven't been able to get an advantage, there's been nothing else that they've went to. And the offense has been very static heavy because of the fact they're not drawing those doubles. Nikola Jokic has not been finishing well at the rim. And so because of that, Minnesota's been able to defend him straight up. And I think the credit goes not only Io for being the best scorer in the series, but it really goes to Jaden and Rudy Gobert for simply being the better duo between those two teams.
Yeah, listen, if we was to go down in history, right, and look at every finals run, look at every championship run, non-championship run, I'm sure you could find a bit of asterisk. I think this is one of the few ones where it's an understandable asterisk. I think you got Ant-Man that went down with the injury. Dante DiVincenzo went down with the injury. And I believe the Dante game, they still won that game. I think the Ant game, they still won that game too. But regardless.
That was the IO.
Yeah, that was the
40
IO
bomb.
46 points, like nuts. I think this Denver
Second most
team
points off the bench.
was completely defeated. I also think coming back from 3-1 is hard regardless of who you play. I think winning 3 straight games, regardless of who you play, especially with the way you were playing, you look defeated, the energy is gone. I still think that's super hard. But I'm definitely looking at it like if Denver comes back, I'm not sitting there saying, all right, this team moves me or this team is back to where they need to be. Their energy has just been super off. Their defense has been lackluster. The offense has been able to get going and get into good offensive stretches. I also think this matchup, this is like playing somebody you've played maybe the last 4 or 5 years that know you better than anybody else. So this is a team that knows your tendencies, know how you move, know how you operate, know what sets you like, know what spots you like to get to. Like they know Jamal Murray like the back of his hands. They know the Joker like the back of his hands, So they know Christian Brown. They know what he likes to do, what he doesn't like to do, what type of defense he likes to play. Like they've played each other 30 or 40 times in the last 3 or 4 years. So this is like you caught a team at the wrong time. They got hot. For Denver, I'm looking more towards if they win the series, how they gonna look against San Antonio, because that's a different type of matchup in the sense of where they've never played them, and they're not Minnesota. Minnesota kind of knows their tendencies. San Antonio doesn't. It's a different vibe. They're younger. They're a lot more athletic. They're a little bit more scrappier. But just for Denver, a lot's riding on this. You have to come back. I don't think this is one of the few series where you have to come back. You have to win. The Joker is 30 or 31 years old. Jamal, he's at the peak of his powers right now. You're a team that's banged up. You have that Christian Brown contract. There's not many avenues to get better in the offseason or make any moves. You mentioned they attached a pick to get off Michael Porter Jr.
So brutal.
I think
and then you have to pay Payne Watson this summer.
We have to trade Cam Johnson's expiring just to retain Payne Watson because of that.
Payne Watson has to get a contract this summer.
Christian Brown has been very injured this whole year.
He hasn't improved though.
No, well, him too.
Brown's has been painfully mid. And
Brown's been
is
mid, but
play.
also injured.
Because Christian Brown is someone that we paid to be a starter, and the fact of the matter is that he's a total detriment to the offense.
He's not a starter.
Like in this series, it's perfect. You could just throw Rudy Gobert on him. They don't really worry at all about the 3
And then the defense.
Sometimes
And the
teams
defense
need
is up
to
and down.
know when to allow a player to test the open market. There was no reason to extend him as early as they did. And that's how teams get stuck in positions
They got
like
frightened
this.
because they lost KCP.
Brown played 44 games this year, and going into the playoffs was coming in with an injury too.
Yeah.
Well, now you got to pay Payne Watson.
It's been this
They
one. He's been had a bad year.
On a year where he had his best offensive season. He shot very well from 3 on 2.5 attempts a game.
Was
and
that
since
not
it was
year 3
such,
though?
It was year 3. Since it was such low volume, it was prone to variance, and his 3-point shooting, while no one respects it, dropped 10% this year. And like Riff highlighted, he's not a defensive stopper. He's not one of their top 2 defenders. And I think you make another great point too, Payne Watson, because he's a restricted free agent. Why would he want to go back out there when he's going to be only maybe 70 or 80% of himself come off a soft tissue injury, which has been continually bothering him, because they're going to ask him to come back out there, and they're probably not going to want him playing a minutes restriction. They're going to say, all right, Payne, we have literally no one else that's physically capable of defending because AG's not 100%. And he's the man. He's trying to, like Michael Porter Jr. did last year, go out there when he's 60% of himself. And then next thing you know, they're asking Payne Watson to play and then lower his market in the offseason. So that's a big reason why I believe he is not going to come back, and he hasn't until he is fully ready to go.
I think that's also another thing that's hurting you guys, the injuries late in the season. AG, Christian Brown, Payne Watson, the late season injuries have been detrimental to your team because a lot of these injuries are to your key guys. I mean, we saw Aaron Gordon last year against OKC get banged up, and that was a series you could have won. We see this year walking into this playoffs. You haven't had Payne Watson God knows how long. AG gets hurt. Like these injuries late in the season.
I believe he's still dealing with this right wrist issue.
He is. I also just think Rudy's just been on one. Like just been absolutely on one. But I also think that could very well hurt him too. But just these injuries late in the season have definitely hurt. And then your bench has been just super volatile in this playoffs. I mean, it's a tough swing for Denver because a lot of these players are outside of Brown and Payne Watson. The other 3 guys are getting older. So, the injuries aren't going to get any better.
The championship window this is their best opportunity to go back to the NBA Finals this season. Oklahoma City coming off a tough championship run.
And J-Dub's hurt.
Having to go back-to-back another year. And then San Antonio, their first year in the postseason. This is as good of an opportunity as they're going to have. And that's why I'm agitated, because I believe this was a great opportunity for them. And so far, they've been blowing it. You could say they're going to come back now from 3-1, but I haven't seen enough to have a whole lot of confidence until they actually do it.
Pistons Magic. The Pistons have a 41% chance to win this series. They're down 3-2. Franz Wagner, he's hurt. Paolo Banchero, Cade had amazing Game 5 performances. Who's your pick to win this series?
Sorry for turning my back on him, Riv. I'm going to Orlando.
Back home.
It took on you.
Oh.
It took a Herculean Cade Cunningham yesterday.
And Paolo to stay in the game, too.
Good point. But it was a dogfight. It took Cade Cunningham. All 45 points were needed. Similarly with the Orlando Magic and Paolo Banchero. It was a great duel. But it took Cade Cunningham going 2020 Jimmy Butler, that type of, I need to will my team in such a fashion to just scrape by and to go to a game 6. And credit to Cade. This is propping Cade and acknowledging we watched a superstar last night. We watched him show why he is going to be first team All-NBA. We watched, more importantly than anything, it highlight why so desperately Cade Cunningham needs a number 2. Because obviously he's ready for the moment. He needs someone to relieve some type of pressure from him that he can rely on to get a bucket, and it doesn't have to be on his shoulders. Yes, he's a young player. Yes, that you have to go through these growing pains in the league, some might argue. Fine. But you know what you have on your hands if you're Detroit. Why wouldn't you do everything in your power this offseason to try and get him a number 2? A real scoring number 2. It's unfortunate that this has to be the case because this Piston team has been fun this year. This is a 60-win team built off an amazing, tough, gritty defense. But the problem has always been this season offense. They've been able to skate by because regular season defense can win you games. But come postseason, I do think that it translates, and I don't think that their defense has been bad by any means. It hasn't. It's just you're going up against another physical, defensive-minded, oriented team, and your offense is simply inadequate unless Cade Cunningham goes to that level, which he was yesterday, and you were able to win a game. For that, though, I think I'm just going to go with the consistency, the all-around consistency, albeit they haven't been that great scoring themselves either, but I just think they have more options to go to. And going into this Game 6, I think that Orlando, they've played just as good defensively and maybe give you slightly better offense.
My fear for Orlando is that France is all but out for the rest of the series.
I think so
last
too.
two games.
And that's
that's
gonna
the
hurt.
big one.
These are the 7th and the 5th worst offensive rated teams in playoff history. So neither team is playing good on offense. It's no coincidence Franz doesn't play and Cade goes for 40. Franz has been their best defender on Cade. Black is too little. Suggs is too small. Jamal Cain cannot play enough because his offense is too adequate. So it's like Cade should, in theory, I mean, he's had a good series, but Cade should, in theory, continue to go off.
And limit the turnovers, too.
Well, the turnovers, they're going to be what they're going to be, just because he has the ball.
Had a couple of strips where Cade was driving to the basket.
Hell
Franz
yeah.
had the length to pull the ball out.
The turnovers are going to be what he has the ball for 48%. Like, his usage rate is
They
nuts.
just can't be 7 or 8.
It's going to be that. It was 6 last game.
It can be 4 or 5, but it can't get to a level to where you're nearing double-digit turnovers.
It was 6 last game. He just had 40. Like, and his 3-ball was falling. Like, and I think that right there was the difference.
That's the biggest thing.
His 3-ball was falling. Listen, I say it all the time. If Duren plays better, which I thought he had a good game last game, granted he still was in foul trouble, but he had a better game than previous games. This team can still win. They've played. This is the same team. Like Detroit and Orlando, they're the same type of team. They're a physical team, ugly offense. They play elite defense. Most games have been close. Detroit has struggled on the road in this series. I'm still rocking with Detroit. If they can get this Game 6 game, I have all the confidence in the world in Game 7. Paolo, you live with the jumpers. I think this offense, this defense, the thing is they've been able to generate defensive stops in transition, and that was their problem the previous games. They're turning over, and then the other team will end up scoring, and it'll be a shit ton of turnovers. They limited that a little bit last game, and they were able. I really felt like Detroit was in control the whole game last game. It got close towards the end, but Detroit was up 10, up 12, up 8 for the most part. Kind of let it go late in the game. Basar was awesome last game just in terms of just his defensive impact and how loud he was on the defensive side. I still got Detroit. I still think they go win this series. I still think this is a team that isn't completely, devoid of just blowing a 3-1 lead, because I feel like, especially with Franz going down, that's going to hurt them on the defensive side, and now you really are just Paolo and hopefully Desmond Bain can be consistent because he's been up and down this series. But yeah, I still go with Detroit. I think we win Game 6. Game 7 is a toss-up. I like where they played at home. I like them at home. And yeah, that's where I'm at with it.
We need to give a lot of credit to Wendell Carter Jr. because he has been incredible for the Magic in this series. Not only because he's outplaying Jalen Duren, but because offensively speaking, Detroit has respected him so much that they've had Isaiah Stewart guarding him, opposed to him defending Paulo, and he's probably their best matchup for Paulo. And because of that, you see Paulo having his best game in the series. And I felt like for Detroit, you know the impact that Isaiah Stewart has when he's not only defending Paulo, but playing close to him. It's 8 blocks in 20-some-odd minutes in their previous game before this most recent one. I mean, Isaiah Stewart's been incredible for them, but I like what you guys highlighted in the Game 4 matchup, the final 5 minutes. There's 2 made baskets between these two teams, and one of them was a garbage time put back by Beef Stew. My biggest takeaway when I'm watching this series is that the Pistons had a golden opportunity this year to come out the Eastern Conference, and they sat on their hands at the deadline and made no moves to make them a better team this year. And when you look at this series, the difference has been Orlando this all season went out and they got Desmond Bain. You look around the NBA and you see the Timberwolves get Ayo Dosunmu, who has won that series, and they didn't give up a first-round pick to get Ayo. You see the Thunder had all these picks to spend. They threw a ton for a player they're going to hardly play in Jared McCain. You see the Lakers making a small move on the edges. Luke Kennard wins them 2 games early in that series. And for the Pistons, they said we're good enough, when the reality is that Cade Cunningham, and they didn't know it then, would collapse his lung. He would come back and have the entire world on his shoulders offensively, having to play 40 minutes a night. And there's nobody who can spell him. You have Dennis Jenkins, who is this good bench guard, but he's not that shot creator that they need. And there are a lot of moves they could have made at the deadline to improve. And maybe you're not getting that number 2 star. You weren't going to get that at the deadline. But you could have gotten a player who would have made their offense at least palpable, somewhat plausible that you can get consistent offense. And maybe you can get somebody like the Cavs, Dennis Schroeder. We saw what he did in their most recent win. And for Detroit, now you're looking at an Eastern Conference where next year all these teams are going to be better. And you can make a move around the edges, but this was their year, winning 60 games. And you saw just how flawed this team was and yet still being the 1 seed. I think the biggest indictment is just seeing the fact that they thought they were good enough. And the Magic have exposed the fact that, no, this is a team that can be beaten. I believe all the credit goes to that starting lineup because they have played with an even higher level of intensity than what made Detroit the 60-win team in the first place.
The Pistons are far away from a title, whether or not they made a move at the deadline or not. Maybe in the Eastern Conference, they could have came out the East. I also tend to just believe that Orlando is a bad matchup for them because the next round, if they play Cleveland or Toronto, Cleveland has the offensive firepower, but they don't have anybody to get stops defensively. And the way Detroit plays defense can be trouble for them. I like the matchup for Detroit a lot against Cleveland just because of their physicality. They ran into a bad matchup. It's just taking them time to realize who can step up to the plate in the playoffs. And I agree with you. They should have made a move at the deadline to improve slightly. I would have loved Michael Porter Jr. to give them another shooter. But nonetheless, they did not think that Jalen Duren would lessen his production by half in the postseason. Dennis Jenkins, you're talking about Ayo. Dennis is supposed to be Ayo for this team. Dennis,
it's not the same.
That was a lot to ask for.
He's just not the same level of scorer as
He
Ayo.
came out the blue.
It's also a lot to ask for Ayo, who nobody expected would have a 40-point game in the postseason.
Efficient 15 and 9.
Ayo was good in Chicago. There's no doubt about it. I know that Ayo's a good role player. Dennis Jenkins in the month of April and late March, he was averaging 20 and 10 when Cade went out with that collapsed lung. And when he did play, he was a contributor for them that was averaging 12 points. And he's been a non-factor. He's been nothing
second year in the
for them in this series. But that's one of those things where you start to realize who you can trust and who you can't in the postseason. Not to say that Detroit shouldn't have made any moves. It's just that their players that got them to 60 wins are also the reason why they're in a deficit in this series. Jalen Duren was averaging 20 after Cade got hurt, self-creating for himself. And that has all been gone in this series. He's averaging 11, getting played by Wendell Carter Jr. I mean, that is not something that anybody of us expected. I think to an example with the Brooklyn Nets where Joe Harris for years was one of the league's best 3-point shooters. And in the playoffs, he couldn't shoot. He couldn't hit anything. Some players are just built for the postseason, and Detroit is realizing this because it doesn't matter who they picked up at the deadline. If you got this version of Durant that we're seeing now, they wouldn't have made it to the finals anyway.
It's been such a catastrophic series for Jalen Duren on so many different levels. The dunk by Jamal Cain is one of the best playoff dunks we're ever going to see.
You're not even lying. It is an all-timer.
The fact
got dunked on.
I mean, there's so many different layers to it you can go into. What it reminds me of, and I don't even mean to dig at PG, but with that Utah-Oklahoma City series in Donovan Mitchell's rookie year, where Joe Ingles just completely embarrassed Paul George, and when it was all on the line,
Staying on his legacy.
Unfortunately,
It's an overrated moment.
Unfortunately for PG,
Paul George like completely outplayed him.
I mean, unfortunately for him, losing that
Niggas
series,
just had like 5 highlights. It was like, all right, bro.
that
Joe
was
Ingles, that's why.
This is even a little bit worse than that because Wendell's genuinely been clearly better.
Yeah.
But it's a pseudo version of that in the sense that you have a player who has just shrunk in the biggest moment as a clear favorite to a far inferior player.
Yeah.
And that's what we're seeing. And it's not even to dismiss Wendell because he's been excellent, but you look at the state of the Eastern Conference, there's so many great bigs, and you want to classify Wendell as the type of player who's going to completely dismantle Jalen Duren, but they clearly don't have a whole lot of love for one another, and I think it's a testament as well. I know that Jamal Mosley has not been what Orlando would need to get that next step, but to see this team come together, I mean, it says something about the head coach that they at least still had that fight in them. So
Jamal Mosley gets fired, they lose the series, they blow it.
Oh, definitely. I'm still not, so I would probably move on from the offseason.
But it's not his fault that Franz is hurt right now.
No.
So you're with me.
I agree with your logic. Yes.
Thank you.
If that's your logic, then he shouldn't be fired even if they lose the series.
It doesn't have as much to do about the outcome of the series to me as much as it is the process. I believe they need a new coach to take their offense to a more innovative place and also get the best out of their
Shout out Detroit, though.
I understand that logic of needing an offensive spark.
Like, I wouldn't blame the Pistons lose a series. I don't think there's anything JB Bickerstaff can do differently.
Be honest with me, bro. You think Jamal's going to Powell and be like, yo, bro?
No, yes. Yes, there is.
That
yes.
midi? Go ahead and take that. What's the question?
Yes, there is.
What would you say?
I would say stop playing them dumbass lineups that he likes to play at the start of the fourth quarter.
The heavy bench lineups. And
yes,
have
stop doing
Cade's extended absences. Or
and he does them at the wrong time. I always also say, JB, why haven't you just decided, all right, if offense sucks, let's just go bigger? If we can't,
I think their best lineups with beef stew on the floor and not Duren.
No, but I'm saying if you can't get any rebounds, you're struggling to get rebounds. Tobias is not playing for defense. Just go bigger. You haven't tried it yet. You've tried these Dennis Cade lineups. I don't know. Like, obviously, it's too late to try anything new in a series. I would have started that like game 1 or game 2. And also, JB isn't. He's a good coach.
Too late?
I think game 6. It's like too late.
The kitchen sink out there. I mean, you don't agree with. I like the Dennis Jenkins K lineups because you need the secondary ball handling, you need the passing, you need the defense.
He's not a passer.
Well. Dennis Jenkins is a very good passer, bro.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not.
When Cade was out, he was running their offense.
Brother, oh my God.
He's a good passer.
Bro, he has not made a single good
April
pass.
Runs.
He is.
I get it.
This was before April. This was
like late March.
Dennis Jenkins gives them that secondary guard that they just don't have. And they don't have anyone else.
Brother, what is he doing?
I mean, he's not shooting the ball particularly well. But
who is he passing it to?
They don't have enough shooting. I mean, that's
he was doing it in April, though. They didn't have enough shooting in April.
Yeah, but in April, he was playing as a self-creator without Cade.
John,
he was on the ball a whole lot.
Falling into the
no, Dennis Jenkins is a good player. I think you are bugging.
I'm surprised by how bad Dennis Jenkins has been in this series. I didn't expect him to I didn't expect him to light the world on fire, but I expected him to do something to contribute positively.
I think it's a lot to ask of a guy who was I don't want to say fresh off the couch. He was more just he just got a new deal. I want to say in like March or whatever it was. He was the new shiny toy on the block. He was playing really well. It was just a lot of expectations on him. I also think like when he's in with Cade, if he's not giving you that scoring punch, I don't think he's as much of a passer as you say he is. Obviously, we also can't get into our pick and rolls and stuff like that. So that's definitely troubling. But he's not really doing too much passing to where it leads him to stay on the floor, because then he would just stay on the floor and Cade would just play off ball. But that's not always the case. Sometimes Asar does it. So I don't think he's giving you that type of spark. Also think it's I don't want to expect too much out of him. I really don't. Like, I think also that's super unfair too, and I'm not going to do that from him.
Yeah, shout out to the Pistons. I want them to win this series.
Shout out to Javonte fucking Green.
I am predicting them to win this series because inevitably Jalen Duren has to have a great game. I'm banking on it. I think he does. I think Kid can keep up his level of production, not the 45 he had, but he can still have
With no
28
Franz,
and 10.
he should keep going.
Yeah, without Franz, exactly. And I think Franz is a big loss on defense and on offense. That's a creator. That's an offensive initiator for you. So I got Detroit. I also want to win for the fellas. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but Angel Reese has reposted every Pistons Jalen Duren low light.
You're not even lying.
Yeah.
It's been very odd.
Well, that's her ex.
Got to get over that.
Duren was probably doing something right.
And isn't Wendell Carter Jr. her new
Yes.
boyfriend or
I think
was
so,
her
yeah,
boyfriend?
yeah.
I don't know what it is.
Wendell Carter got it right now.
Yeah,
And he's out playing Duren. I mean, it's a
He's
bad look for
backing that up.
Duren needs to step up for the
No,
fellas.
shut up.
needs to lock
Not
in.
like, but put it in your shoes.
This
Like,
is a bad
when
look.
like Angel Reese is your girl.
Uh-huh.
You're overlooked, but like your girl basically like, yo, you got to handle that, and you do.
Yeah, I'm
You're out playing an all-star?
Yo, Wendell's getting like superpowers right now.
Yeah, I know me though. I don't really be giving a fuck. So I just be like, bro, that's your ex. I don't care. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
but that's
But
different.
what if
I'm
you're
talking
Jalen
like you're
Duren-
Wendell. I'm saying you're Wendell Carter.
What
your
if-
girl goes to you like, yo, bro, you got to handle this right now.
Or how about you're Jalen Duren and Jamal Cain dunks on you and you see your ex repost that dunk on the
Bro,
story?
I've almost been jumped by my ex. So, you know, that shit don't be phasing me, bro.
Not wrong.
But that wouldn't motivate you to go out there like, yo, yeah.
Nah,
I'm out
Jalen
of-
should have been got motivated because, bro, he's due for money.
He is
Like, fuck all that. Like, he should have been
Good
like,
on
yo,
you
bro.
for keeping it basketball.
Yeah, like, he's due for money. Like, and Wendell should be motivated because, nigga, we trying to prove something. You know what I'm saying? I might get traded. Like, you know what I'm
Wendell
saying?
has been a good player. It's just injuries have
Yeah,
also
like,
destroyed
I feel like Duren
who
just-
he is. Or
What
could be.
happens to Wendell if the next two games of this series, Jalen Duren dominates him? Do Angel Reese and Wendell break up?
I think
Yeah,
Angel
I'm
goes
crying,
back
bro.
to
I'm
to
crying.
Duren.
I'm crying.
like that night.
He wins.
I'm crying. I do think if we win this series, though, Duren better fucking fry
The
Mobley
Wii is
Allen.
so
Oh my
good,
God.
man.
He
You're
better
so
fry
right,
them.
though.
He has to. No way you can be softer than Jared Allen in the playoffs.
No,
Like, there's just no way.
Jared Allen's like the bar of softness.
Like, there's just no way you can do that. Like, it'd be embarrassing. He already lost like 20 mil.
Yeah, he did lose. It's really tough because he's not like an elite. Defensively, Duren leaves a lot to be desired given his physical traits.
Yeah.
And to see him struggling in the series, it's like another question. It feels a little bit like DeAndre in Phoenix, where he is someone who's super young, has all the upside, has every physical tool, looks the part, a great regular season, but are you comfortable giving him a 30% max? And with the way he's playing around, no. Side note, I did mention before the Joe Ingles, Paul George series. I just want to reiterate the point. Game 6 of that series, Paul George went 2 of 16.
Yeah, he was
In
dog
game
shit in game
6.
6. That was the low
And
light.
Joe Ingles didn't play all that much better. It was a plus 16 in the starting lineup.
I would say shout out to
5 point
Javonte Green. Shout out to Stu.
Yes,
Asar has been awesome.
no slight to him.
Cade, of course.
Legend.
Kevin Hurt has done nothing. That was a guy we traded for.
Mhm.
But we don't
That
run
was the
we don't run
deadline.
any
No
shooting
No shout out
sets.
to Tobias.
I was going
He's trying. He's old and he's trying.
I don't like how you just ignore what he does on the other end.
Fair enough.
I really don't. Like it's you
Yeah.
really just ignore the fact that he'll score and give it up right
But
like,
here's the
in
issue.
the same play.
And here's the issue. You need somebody else to score.
For sure.
Unfortunately for him,
Yeah.
that is him. He
I'm
just
with you.
sucks on defense.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Too much Tobias talks. Let's go on to Lakers and Rockets.
Jesus
we talked about it
Christ.
a little bit. The Lakers have a 71% chance to still win this series.
He's fucking frying.
He
right
is
now.
frying.
We're about to watch a game 7 here, Philly and
Game
Boston.
6, nigga. You was talking about Joe Ingles, nigga. Look.
5 for 8 from 3. Paul George legacy game.
Yes, sir.
Legacy game. From
Role
Paul
player
George.
Paul George is
I
really
was
good.
just, yeah.
I mean, it should always be that.
Yeah, he's really good.
reminding
Nah,
you of
yeah,
what that
you
looked like
slept
in
on my
April.
Sixers, bro.
No Embiid, everybody would.
This
I'm
is the
still asleep.
this is the perfect setup for
Shout out to
Philadelphia.
them, though.
LA total done in game 7.
I'm be honest with you, bro. I'm rooting for the Sixers in Game 7 like it's my job.
I just find it funny how, like, you know, obviously he's not here today, but he was throwing so much jokes about us losing to an 8th seed. And those are fair.
Cook. The team
Seven
that
seed
they
isn't-
own.
7th seed isn't that much
They
higher. You know what I'm
own-
saying? Like,
what were they calling?
it's always Celtics.
Take Delphia.
It's always Celtics in 5. Like, that's what he was yelling. It's about to go 7 games.
J Delphia.
Come
They
on,
were
bro.
saying everything about Jason Tatum.
Jay Delphia.
That shit was
Oh,
weak.
no.
They were trying to be
It was
LeBronto.
terrible. But see, Boston fans do
Oh,
it
I
to
saw
themselves with this bad Tatum PR. They do it to themselves, man. You ain't have to make no nicknames of Jason Tatum owning Philadelphia.
Yeah, you said you did say you was like Peyton Pritchard couldn't score on a wing or like he'll struggle, and after you said that,
He did one of
he
the most
fried the fuck out
killed
of
PG.
PG. Oh my
Killed
god,
PG.
It was bad.
Great defense.
They're
better
down
offense.
almost 20, man.
No, it was early. It was when it was close. It was when it was close. Look, he fake locking up right now. He just locked.
Payne
bro.
Pritchard just locked up PG.
Yeah, he just locked. Yeah.
Can you show some respect
He
to
can
Payne
guard
Pritchard?
Mikal
Giving
Bridges.
up
I saw
like
Payne
8
Pritchard at
inches in
Summer
that
League for the
matchup.
championship. All the marbles on the line. Davion Mitchell strapped them crazy.
They able to
The
strap a
Summer
lot of
League
niggas, bro.
Davion can. That's one thing he can do.
I really won the TJ McConnell award, bro.
I mean, this year.
I
for
was
sure.
really bummed when y'all did
So
keep
much
3
better
cut
than
5
me.
nicknames and you cut off night. And then you kept the anomaly for Tatum.
I
Oh,
didn't
that's
want to
an
keep that
all-time
The
shit.
anomaly is
I
a
love-
trash nickname.
didn't
I
want
was
to
like,
keep that
Why
shit.
do we hate it?
You
I
said
mean,
it was
it's a
on the
terrible
short
nickname.
list of the best nicknames in NBA.
I
He's
absolutely love it.
so
I couldn't-
easy. That's why.
I
Absolutely
could not
love
Like,
it.
that
disagree
shit.
anymore.
Off night is
Absolutely.
fire.
The
I love
anomaly
that.
is a joke.
That's
It's
one
not
of
That's
even
why
a
it's
real
so
nickname.
good.
It's funny, but
That's-
it's not a good nickname.
That's why it's so good.
It's not even that funny. I'm straight faced.
But the Lakers have a 71% chance to beat the Rockets according to Poly Market.
It's too low.
Anybody taking the Rockets? And nobody's taking.
I'll be a guy. I'll take him.
Nobody's taking this comeback.
Somebody has to do it.
Riv, you're supposed to be a serious basketball talker. You're talking about the Rockets.
Didn't you say Caruso over Rudy? I think
I
we can
stand
all
on
have
that.
our.
Who's the
jokey-
NBA champion?
A lot of people.
Is Caruso? 2-time. Impact.
Yeah.
Impact. That being said,
What makes you more money, an NBA champion or a 4-time DPOY?
so is that all that matters in this lifetime?
In terms of NBA money,
It's the most defensive player.
Is that matters?
It's not fault Rudy Gobert is playing with Donovan Mitchell, bro, early in his career.
Now you have
What's
to
that
enjoy
supposed
that
to mean?
conversation.
Well, he got a real shooting guard, won an ant, and he made back-to-back conference finals.
Lakers Rockets.
he hasn't made a conference finals. What
What
the
are your
fuck can I
thoughts, Joe?
say? Now, if I throw a Harden joke, I'd be fucking wrong, but I'm gonna let it slide.
Irrelevant.
Yeah, I'm gonna let it slide. I'm gonna let it slide.
If he played with Rudy, then you have a statement to make, but he never did.
Can't win
Rudy
in a
let
row.
Terrence Mann have 40. Can't stop everybody.
I don't know if
I don't know if I'm
blame
putting that on
at
Rudy
all.
either.
I mean, that shit being guarded.
Caruso would never
I
let
mean,
Terrence Mann
he
score
couldn't-
40. That's
he
all I'm
couldn't
going
A
to
lot of
say.
niggas would.
And
And we got back to this full circle.
Yeah.
That being said, Rockets, Lakers, this isn't even a real conversation.
I think it is, bro. Y'all lost 2 straight.
So
and you
what?
could have lost 3 straight.
Game 3.
I think you ignoring game 3 is nuts.
the ending of that game. Was
They
pretty
showed us
crazy.
who they were. They unclutched it
How if they
terribly.
won 2 straight after showing you who they were?
Well, game 4, they won at home. They needed
They
it was
won
the
on the
most
road,
obvious
too.
win of all time.
Well, now, what is game 6? Because they won at home, and I'm with you. Game 4, for the most part, is the most obvious win if it ever is one if you're down 3-0.
Yes.
It's the one, especially
So
when you're home,
obvious.
you get it back. But then they went on the road and beat you guys.
Okay. Is
So
that
now-
the first time ever that a team 3-0
Well,
has won?
no, but now, and they've done this before because they did it last year.
Who?
Houston,
They forced a game 7.
they
against
forced the
Golden
games
State.
after being down 3-1 or 3-0. No, it's 3-0.
No, it was 3-1 because
3-1,
Jalen
yes,
Green
yes,
won
yes.
game 2. And
And then they forced the game 7. Now they're down 3-2 and they go back home. It's a big game because they
forced game
played
7
better
after
at
Jimmy
home.
got hurt.
Fair. You're hurt.
We got Reeves back.
He looks terrible.
Game 1.
I think if the Lakers lose this series, that is going to be the thing we look at. Austin Reeves coming back and messing up the flow of everybody
No,
else.
bro. So
That'd
don't.
be
So
detrimental.
It was
when
just
we
one
win,
game off
don't
the
hit.
bench.
Don't hit me with the. Oh, bro, somebody had to choose him. Don't hit me with that. Because if you hit me with that, I'm gonna tell you I don't give a fuck. You, who are supposed to be the smart basketball guy, you can't be the one to tell me somebody had to do it.
Well, I'm saying logically, we're sitting here looking at the series. You can't say game 4 was an easy layup and then they go out and beat you game 5 on the
No,
road.
I give the
You know what I'm saying?
Rockets
And then you
credit
can't-
for
and
beating
then you
us in
can't
game
say,
5.
and then you can't, like, for example, we can't, all right, I'm gonna use this as an example. Before this game started, if we would have talked about game 6, Philly, Boston, you would have said, this is an interesting game. I still have Boston, but this is interesting, correct?
This one?
Before this game, yes.
No.
You said it and the game was on the TV.
No, I said Phil. I'm taking the Celtics in 7.
That's what I'm saying. But you would have said before this game started, game 6, this makes it a little bit more interesting because
Game
they're
6.
at home.
Oh, for sure.
Now I'm
But
saying,
I'm still taking Philly.
no, but
I'm sorry, I'm still taking
you're
the
taking
Celtics.
Celtics in 7. I'm saying Houston at home, same vibe. It makes it a little bit more interesting. It can't be irrelevant. It's game 6 in Houston. They've played better at home than on the road. Fact.
No, but the whole question is, are the Rockets going to win the series? You just said yes.
I could see it.
Okay.
I could see it. At
Okay.
least go in 7. I could see it for sure going 7.
Okay.
You
but
see it going
you
7?
said 7. Okay. Even if it goes 7,
Do you think it goes 7?
to me, it doesn't matter. I know we're going to win this series
Okay.
regardless.
I don't hate that opinion.
Because game 7, LeBron, that's what you're choosing against. By saying the Rockets will win,
Okay.
you're going up against who? These are a bunch of kids also on top of it in LA.
Kids that just came back from 3-0.
Yes.
Are they even kids anymore?
Game 7 in that moment? Absolutely.
Yeah, these guys have been in the NBA for a minute now.
If you win 3 straight games, I think the kid logic is like, bro, we've won 3 straight
The
games.
Lakers
That's
have
not
better
true.
process, better decision making.
For sure.
The thing for Houston, which is
They've been generating more
reassuring, is
turnovers
that
and hitting the 3-ball a little bit better.
The turnovers
That's over these
for the
last
Lakers,
2 games for sure.
The
Yeah.
Lakers is doing enough decision making and ball handling outside LeBron. And you're asking
Hey,
Marcus
Reeves.
Smart to do so much. Reeves coming off the bench and this limited opportunity, working his way back. It's not Reeves when he was at his very best in the regular season. This is him coming off a month-long absence. And also, too, like you
I'm
highlighted,
shocked this is as
he's
much of a
coming back in
conversation.
the series and it's like, all right, good luck. You have Amen Thompson guarding isolation. It's a tough task. And I feel like the reassuring thing for Houston, which you didn't see the first few games, is that Reed Shepherd and Jabari Smith had just played so much better. And that's a big key for them because they needed that shot making around Amen and Alperen Sengun. We saw Amen last night hit a couple of corner threes. He played a lot better. I felt like he's a better matchup for Reeves defensively than Kennard. And I feel like playing hand in hand with that is the fact that they're getting a little bit more from the bench than before. Whether it was Aaron Holiday giving them good minutes, Dorian Finney-Smith hit a pair of threes, they were getting nothing from him in the regular season. So to get some guys that maybe are at the guard space, opening up the floor and a little more spacing, that's a big level of support that Houston did not have previously. But I felt like Jabari Smith's tough shot making was critical for them being down by 11 in that game, getting back into the mix.
couple games.
But I still have a lot of confidence in the Lakers just because of the fact that the Rockets are a team that, while they had a crazy turnover margin over those last 2 games, I don't trust them as much in the clutch. And we saw that in game 3, where I know with LeBron, he didn't shoot quite well. He shot 0 of 6 last night from 3-point land. He might have that down game 5, but I still expect him and Luke Kennard and Austin Reeves to shoot a lot better in game 6. The Rockets players, their starting 5 is playing 45 minutes a game, basically. You wonder if maybe they get worn out just a little bit despite being so young. But I have a lot more confidence in the Lakers making the right decisions, taking the right shots, getting good looks. But I think Houston does have a chance to win this series if you're getting Jabbar and Reed Shepherd to play as well as they did. I felt last night, especially when I think it was a 3-point game off that tip dunk that Ayton had.
Reed made a nice shot in the clutch.
Reed has a crucial steal lean to a dunk and then a nice pull-up. And I was super optimistic. Reed Shepherd to me was someone who I felt like had a strong case for 6th man of the year this year. You see the impact and how indispensable he is because he's somebody that can create shots. What I want to see Houston do more of is running pick and roll with him and Alperen Sengun. It's utilizing him off the ball, coming off of Amen and Alperen action. He should be someone that they're really trying to use more and more as a key focal point, getting advantages and creating shots because he is their best shot creator in the starting lineup.
Unfortunately, whoever wins this series is off to their death sentence against OKC. It doesn't even matter who wins the series, although it will be entertaining to see if a 3-0 comeback can be pulled
I
off.
don't want to see LeBron fucking get dominated by OKC, honestly.
Let's get into our rest of the NBA playoff predictions. We can speed run this and give our predictions and some analysis with our picks. Let's start in the West. OKC versus Houston or the Lakers.
I think it's 4 or 5 games either way. And Luka has officially been out. He's been ruled out.
I think
For the second round.
he's
For the
gonna
second round.
he's not
Yeah.
gonna play.
So
And if he's not playing, we're fucked.
yeah, so I'm gonna go OKC in 5.
I'll say 5 as well. I'll give my guy a game.
OKC in 4 or 5. Then we go to the bottom of the bracket, San Antonio versus Denver or Minnesota. If it's Minnesota, I think it's San Antonio in 4. If it's Denver, I could see San Antonio in 6.
Even if
I like that statement.
I'm kind of on the same vibe as you. If Minnesota's there, they're gonna be too banged up. So I think San Antonio beats them in 4. I think Denver's 6, 7. I think it's a different matchup for them.
I'm gonna say historically, Wemby has fared extremely well against Minnesota. I think that would be a walkthrough. I think versus the Nuggets, we've seen Jokic have great matchups against Wemby. I'll give him a game or 2, but I'm still going with San Antonio.
In the Eastern Conference, we have the Cavaliers and Raptors facing the Magic or the Pistons.
I still think we win either matchup.
I do like if the Pistons were to move on. I do like them to beat whoever wins. I will say that
I think they both go 7.
I
Regardless.
haven't been
George
moved by
is killing
the
it.
Cavaliers by any stretch of the imagination, and the Raptors are kind of who I thought that they were. But that's also again they're a great defense, bad offense. It's just I think it's a little bit more. I think I've been discrediting a lot of the Cavaliers when again I've appreciated what the Raptors have done this year, and that's what they're showing in this series. And maybe that's me kind of selling Toronto a bit short.
Mhm.
Maybe I'm going to stop doing that. But the Cavaliers also have just not impressed me, truthfully.
Yeah.
But I do think the Cavaliers win this series. I will take the Pistons to beat them if the Pistons move on. If it's Orlando versus the Cavaliers, it really wouldn't surprise me if Orlando won. It's really dependent on Franz's availability, though. If Franz is healthy, I feel inclined to take the Magic. If not, give me the Cavs.
It's a bummer. Part of me almost wanted Orlando and Toronto win those respective series because the Cavaliers have been so disappointing in this first round series. Where I feel like the series was decided with that Game 5 win, and Cleveland will win the matchup. But for as disappointed as Brandon Ingram's been, if he plays in that game last night, there's a strong chance the Cavs are down right now 3-2 in the first round. And then I look at because they had no one else offensively outside of Scotty.
You think BI adds that?
And I mean,
Just the
they
way
have
he's
to
been
respect
playing?
him a little bit. They have
They
to put
went
one
out
of their
in
best
the first
defenders on
half.
him.
Who?
You have to put one of your best defenders
They
on.
be
BI.
throwing D Wade on him.
That
ISO by himself.
D Wade is their best perimeter defender, not named Evan Mobley, arguably.
Well, if Evan Mobley's
So-
not on you and Dean Wade's on you for a game, you're not getting set no doubles or nothing. I think that'd be fine.
Regardless, Orlando, I would have had a lot of confidence in if Franz wasn't out, if he didn't get injured. But I feel like that series became a toss-up the moment he left in Game 5. And so for that, or Game 4, I'm going to lean toward Orlando, but I don't feel amazing about it. The main reason why is the fact that they have that cushion, and I feel like they're equal teams right now. But I really do feel like last night for Toronto is Dennis Schroeder comes in, spells, has a very clutch kind of spark off the bench. And when you are so devoid of half-court creation, which Toronto is, you need whatever you can get. And Brandon Ingram, for as poor as he's been, he was someone that you at least had to respect a little bit on the defensive end. So
I'm going with the Cavaliers to beat the Raptors. I'm going with the Pistons to beat the Magic. I'm going with the Cavaliers to make the Eastern Conference Finals. Regardless of what the winner is with the Pistons and the Magic, I think the Cavaliers have enough to make the Eastern Conference Finals. They haven't played together all that much this year, the starting
It
five.
was 100 minutes.
And I think that we're seeing some signs of that in the first round with the chemistry issues that they're having. And Donovan Mitchell needs to play better. If Mitchell plays better, then I have no concerns about their ability to get to the conference finals if he shows up, because he hasn't thus far in the first round,
Mobley?
outside of the first two games.
I'm sorry, who were you talking about right there?
Mitchell.
Oh, I just want to make sure because I heard that and my brain wasn't working properly. But Mobley played really well last night.
At home, he shoots well from three.
He really did play well yesterday, and was one of the main reasons they were able to walk away with the win.
Him and Schroeder was hooping.
But it was a weird ending to the game. I get it. You live with the Snead, the jump shots, fine, but wide open looks. That game really could have been.
also, I'm sorry too. Sky doesn't get hurt. They win that game.
That's
in the
true,
second
too.
half. I apologize for not mentioning that either. Two best
It's a
players are
fact.
injured. Yeah.
It's a fact.
Potentially.
Toronto
couldn't hit no shots.
I don't know. I don't know, man. We can't just say
Win the game, I don't
I don't
know,
know
but
how you're
I will say the
defending Cleveland.
because
execution
like
from the
BI
Cavs
hasn't
was
been
poor.
good all
He
series.
hasn't.
Like to say,
Oh, he's been awful.
But the
you
fact
still
that he
have to
hasn't been
respect
good all
him at
series
21
and it's
of
this
your-
close.
that's what I'm saying though. Like BI on
and
the
no
floor,
quickly in this matchup either.
that moves me a little bit. It moves me a little bit. But he hasn't played the whole
But
series.
does it not
Yeah.
move you that you look at the Cavaliers less that no quickly?
Mhm.
BI has looked, I don't want to say the word atrocious because that's rude. He's not been good.
Yeah, I mean,
The shooting for
They
the
haven't-
Raptors have not been good until
they're
last
not
game.
a good shooting team.
Literally, last game was the anomaly of good shooting.
And in game three.
True.
I mean, the thing with the Cavs is I get your sentiment. Like they haven't looked how they should have. Also, they haven't played together. But like, I'm not looking at like, it's a BI bad series and they look like this. Like, no, Scotty's just been hooping. This
he
is
has
kind
been
of
amazing.
this is
And
kind of how
Palmer
like
wins, too.
So is
yeah,
RJ.
RJ's been fine. Like this is kind of how like we're looking at it where this is a physical team that's been out physically bullying the Cavs. Like this
True.
is one of those series. So it's like, they're just getting how they're getting. It's been ugly. Like Toronto did not score. I mean, the offense looked nuts in the fourth quarter. Like just abysmal and disgusting. And like,
That's why I feel like Brandon Ingram.
Don't
can at
hold
least give
that.
him
but
something better than
I
nothing.
hear what you're saying, but it's been times where Brandon Ingram has been in the fourth quarter playing, and the offense looks just like that.
The game,
You saw
well,
that
game,
game three,
no,
game four,
game
third
four, he was chucking.
that 1-3 hit was
Yeah, it was like, bro, he
was
sometimes he
his
tanks the
playmaking was
offense.
He was literally giving the ball to the
yeah,
Cavaliers.
he like that's why I like BI. He's been a detriment, and like I get it. He's in theory like he's supposed to be your shot taker. He's the guy that can score from 3 levels. But like his processing sometimes is just like, dude, get off the floor. Like it's just been bad. So, Scotty getting hurt definitely hurt them. But like Cavs, man, they just got to figure it out. I'm with you. Like Donovan Mitchell, I wish them three can play good in one game because I feel like it hasn't been where Donovan, Harden, Mobley has been elite for one or two games.
First two games, it felt they were.
It felt Mobley was good. I feel like Donovan and Harden was on one, and then like on the road, Harden and Donovan weren't good. Mobley weren't good. Game 5, Mobley and Harden was really good. Mitchell wasn't good. Like they haven't really gotten synced together, and that's gonna hold them back.
On the bottom of the bracket, we have the Knicks versus the winner of the Sixers and the Celtics series.
The Sixers Celtics series.
They're whipping their ass right now.
It's gonna go to 7,
Yeah,
unless the
they're up almost
Celtics
20.
have a crazy
game's
fourth
a
quarter
wrap.
comeback.
Which can happen.
I don't know. I start to get delusional if the Sixers beat the Celtics. I really do.
I will say this about the Sixers: it would be an awesome story
I'd be happy
for
as hell.
Joel Embiid to come back out of nowhere, play, dominate, and then lead the Sixers to the conference finals. That would be an amazing story. Just don't want it to happen against the Knicks. I think the Knicks beat whoever comes out of this series. I think Boston has some very obvious flaws, and they're not a better team this year than they were last year. People always seem to mention, Kristaps Porzingis. Dales mentions all the time. Kristaps Porzingis, he was ill. He was a negative for us. Okay. But you lost Al Horford. You lost Luke Cornett. You lost Drew Holiday. Those are 3 awesome players who you can actually count on in the playoffs. This version of Boston that we're looking at right now, it's not the same level of team.
It sucks.
It's not.
It sucks that Derrick White has been struggling so badly because if Derrick White was just the Derrick White you've gotten in years past, you feel really
Nigga
comfortable
sucks,
about
bro.
this.
He's always been
not wrong.
average and mediocre in the playoffs from a
Fucking
shooting
garbage.
standpoint. It's just
All
that
right,
his
we don't have to.
Yes,
What,
I'm
what are
being
you
mean.
exaggerating
I'm
it
being
for?
very mean.
it's that
Please.
Derrick White's
That
bad.
was just dick riding him so much.
I mean,
like he was a star.
He
like,
was
wasn't.
playing
No,
amazingly
like, you guys really
these
just don't-
last 2 years
y'all
in
don't
the
know.
regular
Y'all just don't know how to
season.
distinguish role player shit from star shit. And now they're asking him be a star, and he's like, I can't.
He's hurt. He has to be.
No, he's ass. I'm trying to tell you. He's like, I can't do it. Like I'm trying. I can't do it. That's what he's
I
telling
was having
you.
a conversation with Riv a long time ago where I went through Derrick White's playoff games. And
It's up and down.
he has a lot of playoff stinkers.
Game 5
But
last year
because
against the
he's not a star, those stinkers aren't magnified. The Celtics win. He shoots 1 for 8 from 3, and
Because he
nobody
gets
cares.
a game-saving block. There we go.
Don't forget his buzzer beater
Look,
win in Game 6.
Look, he
To
probably
be
played
honest,
like
the
he
Heat-
probably played like shit that game.
The Heat tipping was nuts. He's had so many great moments, and you're right. He is a streaky offensive player, but they've been able to.
He's a moment.
It's
nigga.
never been magnified because of
He
the
averaged,
offensive infrastructure.
he averaged 18 last year in the playoffs.
If you saw Game 5, he literally could not miss.
What's the-
versus
what's the-
Knicks.
60 EFG.
What
There you
killed
go.
me
There
was
you
what
go.
Dell sent, or somebody in the chat sent.
What was the series? But what was the playoffs before?
He averaged 17, 40% from 3 in their title run.
I believe that
Look at
because
the game logs.
because you know who's on the floor? Drew Holiday,
Agreed.
Jason
He
Tatum,
was the fifth.
But
Jaylen
you're telling
Brown.
me playoff stinkers.
He said that.
He does have
He,
them.
he looked it up.
in,
bro.
in,
Probably.
in the totality.
P!
In the totality of the
Career
averages, he wasn't-
38% three-point shooter
Listen,
in the playoffs.
when they're there, when Tatum and Brown are there, and you have another ball handler, Derrick White is fine.
But
He's
see-
been
fine.
horrendous.
But see-
There's no defending
He's
what
now
he's
Drew
done.
Holiday. He's been ass.
This is the thing.
all year.
This is the thing, and I promise I won't turn it into a James Harden 20-minute
Oh,
thing.
what the fuck?
No way you're going to bring up an actual all-time superstar in comparison to Derrick White.
This is my point in all of this.
He's going to do this?
If
might.
you straight up basketball reference
here we go.
James Harden's playoff stats and you look at the numbers and the efficiency, you'll be like, yo,
good.
he's awesome in the playoffs. But then we talk about moments and you harp on moments where he's ass.
Well, this is what happens when you are
Joel.
a top 50 all-time player.
you're missing
Joel,
the point.
Game 7 versus the Heat tipping last year
6.
back against the wall. Game 6. Last year against the Knicks back against the wall, and you're in an
Against the
elimination
Knicks.
game against this
What
Knicks
you
in
mean
Game
you
5.
smoked them. What do you mean game
Or
5?
game
After we were
4
up
was.
3-1?
So Game 4 it was.
Yeah,
Derrick
back
White is
against
a
the wall, that matters.
35-point game.
That matters.
There have
What
been,
What do you mean?
He's had some
we
great
were
Season
up
on the
playoff
line.
We were up
moments.
3-1. They went
People
back home.
have come back from 3-1.
The Knicks did not try in that game 5. They didn't try at
It
all.
doesn't take away the fact that
that's why
Derrick
when they
White-
came back
Well,
to
it's
the Garden,
'cause
they
Derrick
smoked
White had
Boston.
almost 40
They
points in
smoked.
that
What
game. He
did,
never
what did,
stood
what
a
did Derrick
chance.
White do in Game 6 against the Knicks at the Garden? What
No,
did
I
he
agree
do?
with you.
What
You
did
know,
he
he's
do?
a
Do you know?
elite
Was he
role
trash
player.
or do you know?
I don't know. Look it up.
I'm looking
I
it
know
up.
that we blew him
We're
out and
talking
it
about
wasn't on
moments. He's
nothing.
had some great playoff moments.
Okay, and James Harden has had some great playoff moments too.
I'm not entertaining that. I'm just letting you know that
All
Derrick
I'm
White
saying-
has had
all
great
I'm saying-
Derrick White was boo-boo.
I'm just pointing out the fact that you
Game
can look.
5. Well,
My
tell me how
whole
Derrick White
point
played.
is not superstar versus role player. I'm pointing out the fact that you can look at averages and the percentages can look really great, but they don't highlight the individual moments and stinkers players have in those runs.
You're talking about a top 4 at his position all time.
You said Derrick White's better than Darius Garland, who's an all-star.
All right,
Game
and
6 of the playoffs, Derrick White was. What did he have? What was the
oh,
point?
no, he went 3 for 11. He was bad.
3 for 11. He was asked. Does Game 6 elimination game doesn't matter, Riff?
It always
It matters,
Right,
right?
it matters.
It matters for everybody, but Derrick
everything
White, we
matters.
just say, oh, he's 17 points, 40% from 3. He has ass games in the playoffs. Just I'm saying everybody does. But those games are not magnified because he is not relied upon to be the major difference maker and to swing games. He can swing games occasionally, but when you are relying on him like you're relying on him in these playoffs
He
right
has
now,
to be hurt.
he can't do it.
There's no way. He's never been this bad.
He's never been asked to be like a
He's
star.
never
Oh,
been
but that's
he's
ridiculous
never been a
because
top
Tatum
3
is
option.
back. Tatum is back.
He's never been a
Tatum
top
is
3
back,
option.
Bro, he
though.
wasn't that good this year.
No.
Without Tatum.
No, you're not
Off-
wrong.
Offensively,
offense,
no.
on
You're
offense.
not
He
wrong.
wasn't that good this year. on offense.
Offensively, he was not that
He
good.
wasn't. He
But
got
he
asked.
wasn't this.
No, but he got asked, and I'm telling you,
No,
they
I
said they
understand.
went in the locker room
Yes,
and said, "Yo, bro,
yes.
we need you to be a star." He told them early in the year, "Yo, I can't.
He was fringe
but I'm
all-star.
gonna try."
He was fringe all-star.
Come on, my nigga,
Fringe.
please.
Fringe.
All-Star game had Norman Powell in it.
That's what I'm saying. Fringe.
We got to knock that shit out the park.
Norman Powell was also really good in the
And
first
then
half
what
of
did
the
he
season.
do the second
He
half
was
of the year?
boo.
He showed you that shit was fake
All
as
right,
fuck.
but can we level here? Can we level? Derrick White has never, ever
No, he's never played
looked
this
this
bad.
ass.
No,
Something has to be off.
no, I'm telling you what it
In
is, bro.
2022, he wasn't great offensively, but the last few
No,
years,
2022 was his first year with the Celtics
And
on
it was an
top
adjustment
of it.
period.
Yes, and then
Mid-season
2023,
trade
he was a
going to the
fucking
system.
legend,
Yeah.
and he hasn't looked back. This year, he's been fucking ass for his standard and what we expect from him offensively.
I mean, last year they had a doom squad, so
No, 2 years ago they had to do.
yes, 2 years they had a doom squad.
And
so
last year
it's-
he was the best he was in the playoffs,
Yeah.
and he had a stinker. He had whatever.
It was
Game
it was
four-
it was a short sample though. It
Games
was what
4
like
and
5
5
games.
years.
The
Great for
championship
years.
team and last year's team was essentially the same. Kristaps Porzingis,
It
he
wasn't the
wasn't
same.
healthy for either run.
Good point.
Game 1 versus the Mavericks, he came in off the bench. It was insane.
Yeah,
but
he did. Yeah, he had moments in the finals run, but they made the finals without him.
Yeah.
a good
Almost
point.
and it showed how much depth they had in the front court, which is their biggest weakness. I mean, Luka Garza has played really well, but defensively, it's a night and day. compared
Drew
to
also
those teams.
wasn't that great in the playoffs last year either.
No, and
That's
the
why they
year
lost.
before, that I think is the biggest difference. The year before, he was automatic from the corner.
Yeah.
He couldn't
he was
miss.
nuts.
And they used him as a short roller. He's finishing everything in that finals. It was amazing. That was the perfect role for
Celtics
Drew.
is going to a game 7.
What
That's
Joel
interesting.
Embiid has done to these guys on the inside is nuts.
But yeah, PG and Maxey
He's
have been
bullying
frying
them.
I think now that we are comfortable with the potential outcome of this game, we can talk about it somewhat. The Sixers now force a game 7. Number one, remarkable that Joel Embiid has come back, played this well. He's made the game so much easier on everybody else. It's exploited a major mismatch problem that Boston has. If they win game 7 and they get past the Boston Celtics, it's going to be a remarkable moment for Embiid, who on short notice came into the series halfway through it. First game didn't play so well, but the second game, he was unbelievable. For him to have that moment is incredible. And Philadelphia, they can start being delusional about how far they can get if this team is healthy.
I'm rooting for it. I'm rooting for it like hell. And obviously his impact is felt. We know what he means to this team. We know how much better they are offensively when he's on the court, how much easier the game becomes for the rest of the players on the court. But again, in a matchup like this one, it was just written in the stars for it to be Embiid's series, the best player in the series. And that's no slight to my guy, Jaylen Brown, who obviously he's been good in this series too. Tatum, who's also been really good in this series too. It's just the matchup for Embiid was right there. And it's been evident in these games that he's played. And credit to Philadelphia, again, who has been a team that has been destroyed by injuries late in the season, getting it all together, and all of them start to glue at once. VJ also for being in this moment and rising to that occasion, looking far from a rookie, and Paul George looking comfortable again playing basketball too. I think that I'm sure, Riv, I know that you've had your ups and downs with PG, but for all PG
Philly
fans,
PG.
yeah, for all PG fans though, this is probably pretty gratifying because you know who he is when he's at 100%.
Listen, I've seen the highs of P. I've been there.
It's special.
It's Listen, it makes my
But
dick
also,
hard.
but the matchup, him getting Peyton Pritchard in a switch every time. Oh, the
He
guys
can,
are
he
gone.
actually can score on everybody but Peyton Pritchard. It's mad funny, actually.
The Sixers top 8 in minutes this game in game 6 is Embiid, Paul George, Edgecombe, Maxey, Grimes, Oubre, Drummond, Justin Edwards.
Yeah.
Is that enough to make the NBA Finals?
I don't know. I would. Am I crazy for saying New York has more on-ball defenders than Boston? On ball. Got
We
OG.
don't.
Tatum,
They have
Mikal,
Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and
Derrick White,
And even, and I think Tatum doesn't fully play on ball a ton.
Walsh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
White's not best.
But
That's not
Walsh don't
scoring
really
card.
play. But it's just
I
OG
think you got
and Mikal
I
for
think you
us,
got
and
Alvarado
Deuce.
off the bench.
Deuce
You
McBride.
got Deuce
Deuce
off the
and
bench. You know what I'm saying? You got OG.
Alvarado.
Hart could play on
You
the
got
ball.
Mikal. You got Hart.
How
That's like
effective he is.
I'm not talking about like elite. I'm not talking about like great. I'm just saying good on
He makes
ball
money
guys.
plays.
I like
Your
you know.
boy out the playoffs. My boy still in it.
Ooh. Oh. All right. Yeah. Listen, I'm rooting for the Knicks.
He got smoked in the playoffs.
He got his game.
Wemby's undefeated
Hey, listen,
against
Philly
him.
still got to win
He
game
got his
7
game.
though. They still got to win game 7.
Okay, so Knicks versus Sixers,
Which I have a
Celtics.
little confidence in.
I have the
I
Knicks
understand
moving on regardless. I have the Knicks moving on.
If
to
the
conference
Sixers
finals.
win, man, it's gonna be hard for me to pick against them, but I think I'm gonna.
Don't blow it. Down 14. There's still a lot of time left.
Who do you have?
Good point. That's not good.
If Knicks and Philly play, Knicks.
Celtics or
It
Philly?
would be
Whoever.
funny if they blow his 20-point lead. in the
I think
fourth.
Boston still wins.
I think
I'm
Boston
gonna
still
have
wins
to,
too.
because Payne Pritchard has not been truly himself as efficient as we've seen tonight. And then also, I feel like you're gonna expect a way better version of Jason Tatum in Game 7. Same with Brown, because I know Kata tonight's been in foul trouble. It hasn't
There's
been
no
a
way
super.
they play bad.
It's also the fact that over the years we have seen Philadelphia have variance in those crucial late series stretches. And I don't have the optimism that you're going to get, because even tonight for Embiid, he's been playmaking well. You're not seeing him score as
Spot for
effectively.
15.
You're not seeing him score as efficiently as you would really hope with Kata being in foul trouble in the first half of this matchup. So
Which means game 7, you could explode.
maybe. And also, we've gotten the absolute best version of Paul George
Celtics,
tonight.
truthfully, outside of the Tatum ankle injury in Game 7 versus the Heat, they're pretty good in Game 7s. They've been in a lot of Game 7s, truthfully, too.
I don't know why people favor Boston over New York.
Oh, God.
What about them is better than New York?
I think
top-
I have
they're
you
two
guys
best
beat
players.
Top
Boston.
two.
Jason Tatum and
Their
Jalen
coach.
Brown, but then their depth outside. Their what about
What
does their
version of
depth
Derrick
look
White am I
like?
getting?
Brother,
The
give the version you
version
got
of
this year.
Derrick White that
This year.
we've gotten up until this point in the season.
Show
which
what
is
was that? What was that quote?
mediocre,
that
streaky
we-
offensive player.
He's shown you believe
yeah.
what he's shown you all year. This is who he is for the rest of the year. Let it go.
No.
And they might trade his
The
whack
Celtics
ass.
have
To the
such
Lakers.
obvious
Oh, no.
flaws that I don't know why people are fading the Knicks. They have better depth. We have
I got
multiple
Pistons
players
You
that
guys
are
are going
reliable.
to kill them on the glass.
We have Brunson, we have Cat, we have OG who's averaging 20 in the playoffs.
But
He's
you
averaging
do
double-double
have
in the playoffs.
Brunson, which you can attack in switches.
And OG can shut down one of the Jays.
You have Cat, who
Shut
you
him
can
down?
attack
Yes.
him and drop.
Shut down, no.
OG
Limit,
will shut him
yes.
down.
Limit, yes.
They'll have some offense.
I
and
just
Mikal
watched,
Bridges
bro.
can limit the other one.
I just watched
Nah.
Brunson get murdered by CJ.
Who's gonna do that on Boston?
Tatum and Brown could do
They'll
that.
trap the
Pritchard?
ball every time they get the ball.
I don't do that a ton.
No, we do it against Atlanta. We started to do it against Atlanta.
Well,
Yeah,
here's the
after the
thing.
fact.
You trap Tatum. He can make those passes.
Easy.
He can make
Now
them.
Brown,
To who?
getting there.
To Jalen Brown.
Well, we not leaving Jalen Brown open.
No,
We
but
gonna
maybe
have somebody
a
on him
shooter.
too.
If they have Baylor out there, that's a shooter.
Well,
Like,
again,
you know?
Payne Pritchard. You're not leaving him
Now you
open.
leaving White open right now.
Yes.
Unfortunately,
Figure it out.
I got you
I'll say
guys.
the
I got
Spurs tonight.
Knicks. I got Knicks
He's
winning.
hitting the streets tonight.
3 or 6.
Shocking. They're up
Yeah.
20.
Not his fault. Hashtag did all he could. And if they come back and win, Derrick
Why
White will
the
have an
fuck did
impact.
he do all he could the
I've
first
done
5
anything
games?
inside.
He's
too.
been. You know what, Riv?
I
As
was,
somebody who's
No,
going
no,
through the
you
no,
guys-
let me finish.
no,
As somebody
no.
who's going through the human experience
No.
and understand in life, you have
No.
your ups, you have your
No.
downs. Right now, he's having his downs.
No.
Can you let a man try
No,
and rise again?
I'm gonna tell you why. Because you and that big 4-eyed fucker.
We had our amazing
no,
2-year
no.
run.
I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you. Shout out to Julius. I just see you, my boy. Yo,
True.
you and that 4-eyed fucker was nothing but rude, disrespectful, and downplaying Darius Garland. You were. Stop.
I didn't give him his
stop,
flowers this
stop,
year?
Stop. Drew, let me finish. I'll let you finish. Let me finish.
Barely.
You
were
guys,
talking, you said,
my
nope,
fault. You
nope,
wasn't saying
nope,
nothing for real.
nope.
But I'm gonna say, like,
Nope.
you wasn't
Nope.
really saying nothing for
Nope.
real. You
Nope.
two were completely disrespectful. Y'all ignored what he did on offense. Y'all didn't give a fuck, and y'all just completely blatantly talked about how he wasn't good. I said, okay, fine. Did you give him his flowers when he started playing when he got healthy? Yes,
Thank you.
You did. But I will never, Forget how y'all talked about him when he was asked.
Have you ever given Derrick White flowers even when he was playing well?
Yes, even just now, I was like, defensively, I never talk about his defense. If you always hear me, I never speak on his defense.
is elite.
I never. But now, since you didn't give DJ a pass, I'm gonna shit on Two-Face because look at him. He's playing like
He's gotta
shit.
be injured.
He's bald and
gotta
playing
be-
like shit.
He's bald and playing like
When
shit.
one
He's
of
playing like
y'all
still. He's not injured. He
One
hasn't
of
been
y'all
injured.
set
He's not
the
injured.
box score of Derrick White shooting, and Drew just goes, I'm not looking.
It's so bad. It's bad, bro. It's bad, bro.
Not
Like,
looking.
and you know what's the sad
You
part
didn't
about
have
it?
to open
It's
it, you know exactly.
Joel.
what
It's open looks. This nigga be wide butt ass nigga
Sometimes
open. He's
Paul
fucking
George
garbage.
was left wide open, booty butt naked, hitting the
When?
side of the backboard.
Hey, what did you say on Twitter? You probably was talking
Way off
crazy
D.
about exactly.
But a man
So now
is
way
allowed
off
to go
D.
through his
Way off D. This nigga is ass.
Yo, the Celtics about to come
Hey,
out.
I told you.
A comeback is still in the works.
Damn
So,
it.
Conference Finals West, Spurs OKC.
OKC in 7.
I've been super
This is if
impressed.
J-Dub comes back
No
healthy.
J-Dub, I'm taking the Spurs.
I think the Spurs can beat them regardless. With
I've been
J-Dub.
super impressed with the way that when Wemby went out and you saw Dylan Harper immediately step in that Game 3 game, and you watch this young supporting cast and San Antonio just take it up a whole different level against Portland and get out of that series quickly in 5 games given Wemby's injury. I would have to take, and it really comes down to, like you highlighted, is Alex Caruso in his threes? That's one part of it. If he's continuing in his threes, I think that's a very big benefit in the closing minutes. But then the other part of it too is, do you have Jalen Williams? If you don't have J-Dub, I feel like the series becomes a 55-45 prop, and I would slightly lean Oklahoma City. But if you have J-Dub, I'm going to confidently go with Oklahoma City, maybe 65-35, because of the fact they've been so strong taking care of business. I think it's the 3rd straight year they swept their first round opponent, getting that extra rest. And then you have this abundance of players who you trust in the postseason with that said amount of time that they kind of had that hiatus to just perform in those 2nd and 3rd round series. I'd have to go with Oklahoma City, and I would see it going to 7, but I'd probably go with them in 6 games.
I just love the way that San Antonio guarded OKC in the regular season. They weren't all the way healthy for all the matchups, but there's a couple things that I can count on with San Antonio. Stephon Castle's defense on Shea. Victor Wembanyama's presence at the rim, being that rim protector. And because of OKC's lack of trustworthy shooters, he can camp inside there. And we've seen off of their recent matchups that Wemby all but shuts down Chet. Chet becomes a non-factor in games against Wemby. He's too good. He's too freakishly amazing. And and then De'Aaron Fox, I think he gave us a hint of,
You're a funny guy.
when I want to turn up, I could turn up. There's a lot of mouths to feed.
He's up in the air.
Devin
He
Vassell
really
He's up
is
in
a
the-
Devin Vassell
TBD.
is an 18-point per game
TBD
scorer.
as fuck,
Stephon
actually.
I
Castle scores
hate watching
16.
him. Is that wrong for me to
Wemby
say?
scores 24, 27 tonight, but when he gets 30 minutes, he can score 30. Dylan Harper can score. De'Aaron Fox is just saying, yo, let me be smart.
Nah,
Now
it
my
ain't
team
that.
is-
It ain't that.
That's
It
it.
it
It's
really
like when
ain't
smart.
that.
Remember?
Mhm.
It
Let me
ain't
be
that.
smart.
What are you saying?
Yes.
He doesn't know
De'Aaron
what he's
Fox.
saying.
You-
He's
what are
chatting
you
right now.
saying?
It's a
Fox.
TBD. It's a TBD.
Fox,
It's TBD.
baby. Come
De'Aaron
on.
Fox's best move, if he were a good mid-range
They're gonna attach
shooter,
a
bro,
pick to
he
give
would
him a
average
mid-range
70 points a game.
They're
He was
gonna
a good
attach
mid-range
a
shooter.
pick to get him off the
Probably
team.
is. If he were more consistent, I hate when he does that speed boost
Fox
to the
and
rim.
lapels for Trey Murphy.
Fox and what? For
What
Trey
does
Murphy?
Trey Murphy do, man?
Spot up and shoot.
And play defense.
Sometimes you.
He doesn't play
He almost
defense.
broke
You're
a
right.
record this year for 3-pointers.
Sometimes you just need that. Just shoot the fucking.
I like San
ball.
Antonio. I'm not a big fan of back-to-back champions. I like parity. OKC, if they would win, I think it puts Shea in some uncomfortable conversations.
It just
all
puts him in
time.
Kobe conversation. You hate that. Just say that.
Puts him over Steph, better than any 2-year run Steph has ever had. in
Steph's
his
better
career.
than Harden ever will be.
Steph's not better than Kobe.
Fine. I don't have a problem with
Yo,
Kobe.
Gun to your head, Steph or Kobe.
Gun to your head. Harden or yourself.
Oh, I'm taking me every time.
Come on, my nigga. How weak that
You've
nigga
seen
is.
me shoot.
You know what I'm saying?
Harden or yourself.
Like,
Shea gets into a lot of uncomfortable
you know he
conversations.
passes Harden too. He already passed Harden actually.
Fine. I mean,
Passed him last year without the ring.
Shea is an all-time great player.
How many niggas
I don't
passed
dis-
Harden?
I don't
Giannis
disrespect
passed
Shea.
Harden. The Joker passed
Yep.
Harden. Kevin Durant Ben did that.
Yep.
Shit.
Shea
Steph Ben
passes
did that.
Jokic with this.
Shea passed Harden.
Shea passes Jokic
Did
with
Tatum
this.
pass Harden already? We're thinking about it.
That's a
It's a conversation.
That's a conversation.
not
Jaylen Brown, Finals
You
MVP.
think
Yo, my nigga, real shit. Harden better step up.
you think Jaylen Brown's as good as James Harden?
Huh? You didn't ask me that. Don't ask me questions.
You said passing him.
Don't
what are you
ask
talking
me
about?
questions.
Passing him. No, man. I think the good thing about OKC and San Antonio, and by the way, one of these two teams is going to win the NBA Finals to me pretty comfortably, and the public on Polymarket agrees because the team to advance to the NBA Finals, OKC's number 1, 71%,
Ooh.
San Antonio's number 2 at 50%, and Boston's number 3 at 42%. Still fading the Knicks, I see. Boston, I think, is fraudulent. They're a darling this year for whatever reason, but I don't think they're as good as last year. But for whatever reason, they have the trust of everybody to just make it back to the finals with no resistance, although Philly's taking them to 7. We're going to see history regardless with OKC or San Antonio winning the championship. With OKC, Shea becomes a 2-time MVP, and in those 2 years that he won MVP, he also wins a championship in back-to-back years. That puts him in rare conversations with dudes that have done it, and those are all top 10 players of all time that have done it. There's only been 5 teams to go back-to-back. There's been the Warriors, the Bulls, the Lakers multiple times, Showtime Lakers, and the Kobe Lakers.
There's got to be some Celtics in there.
And then also the Lakers in the 2000s with Shaq and Kobe, and then the Boston Celtics as well. They did it, and the Miami Heat also went back-to-back. So he joins that company. With Wemby, if the Spurs completed it, if the Spurs win a championship and Wemby's at the head of that, this is the best season we've ever seen from a player his age in the history of the NBA.
Yes.
It already might be that just off of pure production,
Yes.
but accomplishments. What he's 21 years old.
Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan didn't come in at 21.
He came in older, I
I
believe.
want to say he was a 23-year-old rookie.
Whoa, never mind. Sorry.
He
Thought
was
came
a
in-
rookie, but he was older.
Yeah, I thought he came in at 21.
In 99.
Pardon self.
Victor Wembanyama puts himself. I mean, he catapults himself in the conversation.
Magic's rookie season is just the first one I think of
Yeah.
personally, but I also think he did
That
come out
probably
of
the contention.
Because
Matt
how I
Johnson.
see Wemby is
21.
Oh, Tim was 21?
21.
Oh, he's right there.
When he won a
He won a ring
championship?
at 22, 23.
5th in MVP, first in rookie of the year.
Yeah. Tim Duncan was ready
Oh,
to
you
go.
want to know
Spur.
why? He came in the call
No,
with
they won a
17.
championship his second year.
Yes.
Yeah, so 22.
Tim
Spur,
Duncan.
Spur.
yeah,
There it is.
Tim Duncan was ready to go when
Ready.
he got drafted.
He's
He
ready
was
in
he was an
college.
immediate impact player. Victor Wembanyama has the best season all time for a player his age. It also catapults him in the conversation all time where, I mean, having a peak season like this and beating a team like OKC and then going to the finals and winning the NBA championship, it's just something rare. I feel like we're going to see something historic with OKC or San Antonio winning it. It's going to be a lot of conversations that are going to be fun to have about those two players.
Rooting for my Spurs. 10 times out of 10.
The big question with that series is Jalen Williams having a grade 1 hamstring sprain is usually a 2-week absence.
Yep.
And
Not everybody plays through it. It takes a lot of guts.
it's already been a week since the Thunder's Game 4 win over the Suns.
They should be
So
ready.
you're looking at
Yeah.
roughly, if the series starts on Sunday or Tuesday, about a week and a half to maybe even a full 2 weeks by the time you get to Game 1 or Game 2.
And you're hoping other series in the second round go 7 games. Gives you extra
Right.
time.
So then that would push it from Sunday to Tuesday, Game 1
Yep.
in Oklahoma City. So if you're missing Jalen Williams for Game 1, I would probably favor Oklahoma City in the matchup. You get Jalen back for Game 2 or 3. Maybe you're up 2-0, but more realistically tied 1-1. And if that's best of 5, I would have to go with Oklahoma City. I just felt like they're too dominant, taking care of business. And I really do feel that when Alex Caruso is hitting his threes and that closing lineup with what he gives you as a defensive player, it completes that lineup. I mean, you're laughing.
No, he's
No,
laughing.
he's
Keep
laughing.
saying
I'm
those
laughing
threes.
because he
He
looked
knows.
at me.
He knows because the
It's-
fucking truth.
It's tough if
We
you're
talk about
if
AC
what
Fresh,
you're
baby.
giving up is AC open threes and he's hitting 3 of those consistently. That is a huge benefit for Oklahoma City's closing lineup.
It's easier to guard Jokic than
Like a
Wemby.
superhero.
What's that?
Got the superhero hair.
You got the Clark Kent
Yeah.
hitting over.
Do I?
Yeah.
Nice. It looks cute, bro.
Okay.
hmm
You
I
want to
guess.
fuck him.
I don't know.
It's harder to guard Wemby than Jokic for OKC.
Oh, you scared the fuck out of me for a second.
Oklahoma City last year was loading up on him with those smalls guarding him and then shedding help, and they had a formula.
I don't
The
think
best
that
formula.
works the same way against Wemby because he can shoot over anybody more efficiently than Jokic, at least
We'll
in this
see.
point in time.
We'll see. They have players like
God bless.
And under the basket, he is an automatic bucket.
I wonder who they have
Wemby or
matching up with
Jokic?
Wemby. Jalen?
Victor Wembanyama is better.
right now.
pretty comfortably.
Yo, he's a sicko, bro. He's a sicko.
Yes, baby.
I love my ethical Frenchmen.
Yes.
He's only doing this because they were pushing Kobe,
Yes.
Joker over Kobe.
Is that why?
Yes.
No.
Yes,
He's
it
just
is.
better. I mean, he
Yes,
offers
it is.
he offers similar offensive impact,
Yes,
and
it
then
is. He had
defensively
SG
he clears.
Similar offensive.
He
impact?
had SGA and the Joker at 1A, 1B.
Wemby
they
does
started
not offer
doing.
similar offense.
I don't-
impact.
It's not even close, actually.
No.
Not even
What do you
close.
mean it's not even close?
No, it's
Gravity.
actually it's literally not
Gravity.
close. Gravity's real. Gravity is fucking real as hell.
Gravity.
Everybody on the Spurs 3-point percentage goes up when Wemby's on the court
I
by a
respect the hell out of
significant
that.
amount.
Niggas be
Gravity.
They
wide
go
butt
from
naked
they
open.
go from 31%.
They see that
to
7'5"
38%.
man, and there's piss running down there. Like, what
How does Oklahoma City guard Wemby? You have Jalen Williams defending him one-on-one with Chet.
Because Lord knows it can't be Chet one-on-one.
With
If it's
Chet
Chet
helping
one-on-one,
off Castle.
It's food. Well, it's going to be interesting how they guard him, and I think that's going to be something to look for in this series is how Wemby handles OKC's coverages. They're an elite defensive team for a reason, which is why it'll be all that more impressive if they can get by them and he can have a great series.
that's our NBA Finals.
Where the series that is the NBA Finals in general, I think, and
Yeah.
that's why in the East I have the Knicks beating the Cavaliers in the conference finals. I have the Knicks going to the NBA Finals. Somebody told me that if I had the Knicks going to the NBA Finals, I might as well be delusional and just pick them to win it all.
Definitely.
San Antonio and OKC are just on different levels, and I feel like they match up.
I mean, shit,
very
you
well
there? You
against-
might as well
I
just
don't
be
know.
delusional.
I feel like you still get shit for
You've
people.
been delusional in the finals over Luka winning, so you can be with the Knicks.
Took the words right in my
Like
mouth.
literally, you can.
You
be
get
delusional.
shit for being delusional about Luka and the Mavericks.
Do it with your team.
Why
Fuck
not
it.
do it with the
Well,
Knicks?
no, it could have happened though.
No, actually, it was no shot.
Luka didn't have
No-
the series,
no
neither
shot.
than Kyrie.
No shot.
If
No
my,
shot.
If
It
my,
went 5 games.
if my
No
two
shot.
best players struggle in the series,
No
that's
shot.
a big
Hey,
thing.
brother,
Do me a favor.
They
Do
shot-
me a favor.
They shot
No shot.
17% on
Don't
wide
Matter of fact,
open
go
threes.
rewatch the series. No shot.
They shot 17% on wide open threes.
Sounds
Just
like
give me a solid.
Magnum ball was
Don't
gone.
defend that take.
No. I still that's valid to me.
They lost in
Luka didn't
5.
hit his threes in the pick and
They
roll and
lost
drop
in
coverage.
5.
Bro.
That's it.
We can
That's
just
it.
not
No, they-
smile
they-
or nod.
They lost in 5, and one of the games was close. It could have been 6 games. Simple.
Mhm.
But no, San Antonio and Denver are on different levels. I think we match up better against San Antonio because San Antonio's lack of experience, and I think the shooting, even though I mean they have certain lines where they can tap into all around shooting on the court.
Are we getting an in-season tournament final rematch?
It could happen.
That would be.
I
that
like
would
our
give the
chances.
in-season tournament some validity.
I liked our chances against San Antonio more than OKC, but I think these two teams, one of them is destined to win the NBA championship, San Antonio and OKC. But the Knicks getting there, they're going to have a chance too, and I don't think it's going to be a cakewalk. We can guard Shea well, and all of our matches with OKC for the most part have been very tough and competitive. I think that's a tough fought series either way.
The good news is you might not have to play Denver in the first round because they're currently down right now to Minnesota in Game 6, 38-37. So
Oh, it's
Oh,
okay.
it's
so
what?
early, John.
Yeah.
John, I thought you was about to say like a
You're
blowout.
a pessimist. Come on, bro.
there's no reason we should be down.
Oh, the game just started.
This is what
Middle of the
happens.
second-
You
it's
join
middle
the
of the
team.
second quarter.
Have
The
you
game
noticed
is
that
almost at
they've
half.
joined
Oh,
the team
shit.
and you've joined the team and they've wildly disappointed?
What do you mean by that?
Has your addition been a subtraction
Well,
to their
it's-
success?
It's funny you say
Hey.
that because since I became a Steeler fan in 2010, they were in the Super Bowl and they lost that year and they've not been back since.
The
John, I'm
Last-
sorry. That was
judge.
way too real for me to say then.
the last basketball thing we'll talk about is the new NBA tanking proposal, which is not in place yet. It's going to be voted on May 28th.
Oh, so they can vote against this still.
They will accept
Thank
or
God.
reject it. This is all you need to know. This is all you guys need to know about the new NBA's tanking proposal. The lottery goes from 14 teams to 16 teams, the 8th through the 15th seeds. There's flattened odds and a relegation zone. The worst 3 teams will have reduced odds at the number 1 overall pick. The bottom 3 teams receive 2 lottery balls. The teams that are the 4th to 10th worst receive 3 lottery balls. The 9 to 10 play-in teams receive 2 lottery balls. So they receive the same amount as the worst 3 teams in basketball. And the loser of the 7th and 8th seed matchup receives 1 lottery ball. And the bottom 3 team that has a lessened chance in the lottery, they cannot fall anywhere below the 12th overall pick. So the 12th overall pick is their absolute floor. There's also some restraints when it comes to these draft picks. Consecutive pick restraints include you cannot draft number 1 in consecutive years. So when the Cavaliers drafted Anthony Bennett and Andrew Wiggins, you wouldn't be able to do that.
I hate that.
As well as a top 5 pick
yes,
for 3 straight years.
You cannot draft in the top 5 for 3 consecutive years. So, for an example, the Spurs wouldn't have Dylan Harper, the Rockets wouldn't have Amen Thompson, the Cavaliers wouldn't have Mobley, and the Phoenix Suns wouldn't have Ayton back then when they drafted a number 1. And there's also draft pick trade restrictions, which include you cannot trade a pick with protections in the 12 to 15 range. So that's everything that you need to know about this new anti-tanking proposal.
It's terrible.
Boring.
It's really terrible. And it could be as simple as, shout out to Dels. I'm going to give him his credit because most likely this is what he would have said on the show. And I 100% wholeheartedly agree. Fuck a lottery. If you're the worst team, you get the pick. It should be that simple. You would avoid teams tanking for multiple years if that were the case. But also, here's the reality.
In theory.
In theory, yes. How many years in a row have we seen a team terrible in the NFL?
Browns,
The
Jets,
turnaround time in the
Giants,
NFL is
Titans.
you can be competitive a year after you
sort
get a
of
top
crazy.
pick.
There
We
have
saw the
been a
Commanders
decent
make the
amount of
NFC
NFL
Championship.
teams that have been
Facts.
terrible for a
And they
long
was shit
time.
the next year.
Say that one more time,
There
Johnny.
have been a decent amount of NFL teams that have just been terrible for a long time.
They have, yes.
Agreed. And
The
I feel like
Jets.
We see 2 of them 15 minutes
quarterback
away.
variance unfortunately matters so terribly bad.
And I understand what you're saying to make it simple, because my biggest gripe with Adam Silver, and he's done some good things, the playing tournament I really enjoy, but he has also taken things and swung the pendulum too far by trying to implement something like this. I thought Charles Barkley laid out a solution to tanking very simply, and it's not this radical change that every 2 years we're making a new change to the All-Star game, or making the in-season tournament, we're adding all these new things, and for most fans it's hard to follow. A simple solution to tanking is, okay, you can't trade lottery protected picks. All right, if you're going to trade draft pick, it's gone. You have the Indiana Pacers this year trying their very best to get a top 4 pick after trading that away. And then secondly, and this is such a simple thing, it comes down to the owners. I don't think they'd vote for this. If you're well below 500, you should have to lower ticket prices, because an owner of a franchise is not going to want to let go and lose revenue year over year, because he has to, let's say there's a mandated 25 or 30% restriction if you're 15, 20 games below 500. And that in turn leads ownership to say, you know what, we have to be competitive. I'm not going to let you take out Lauri Markkanen and Walker Kessler and whoever else with 10, 15 minutes left in a game that are up in. And that is something which is simple. It doesn't make this radical change in the NBA's constitution where you're having to add all these different rules that people have a hard time following. And beyond all of that, you're still not solving the issue. It's that small market franchises don't have an avenue to high-level free agents. They have to build through the draft. A lot of these teams need to get those top-end talents. And I understand that Adam Silver's trying to flatten the lottery odds. You can still do that. You can have it so to where the top 7 and the bottom 7 teams have equal odds. And I think that's fine. But this whole thing where I think the setup of it has the right intention in mind to eliminate an issue in the NBA. But to me, it's not going to truly address the need for teams to have to tank to get that level of talent. And I firmly disagree with you can't get a top 5 pick 3 years in a row, because each draft class is entirely different, right? You can have the Hawks get the first overall pick 1 year at Zachary Rishishai. 2 years later, they're not going to be eligible to get a top 5 pick in theory if they were a poor team because of that draft. I don't think it's as simple as that. So I would vote against this.
I hope they do.
And I think the solution is what Charles Barkley said. I think you're going to have to eliminate pick protections. That would be the smartest thing. And then simultaneously, I think owners should have to have a 30 or 25% discount ticket prices if you're going to be well below 500. And that's going to incentivize teams to say, all right, this tanking thing, you can do it for a year or 2, but you can't have the Utah Jazz being bad for 5 straight years.
Pick protections is really fucking
But don't you feel
stupid.
like lowering the revenue is kind of going to hurt these small market teams, because they're usually the
It
bad
might not
ones.
even matter. I feel like most of the revenue that these teams accumulate is from TV deals.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
cause
a
like
lot of it's
Portland,
in
you
TV
see what
deals.
Portland's owner is doing right now.
That's insane.
Yeah,
He
like,
wasn't, some players like Caleb Love, he wasn't getting a hotel for them because he wanted
he's
to
trying to
save
find a new coach, like just like in a cheap way. I forgot what it was, but like,
No, they said we want to hire
the lowest
the lowest
yeah,
possible salary.
possible
It's
salary
fucking
coach.
nuts, bro.
Yeah.
I feel so bad for Portland fans.
I wanted to challenge myself to have a contrarian viewpoint to this entire tanking proposal. How I feel about it initially is that all you do is move the goalpost of what teams need to strive and aim for. if you have the best odds at winning the lottery, if you are between the 4th to the 10th worst team, then all it means is, okay, we can't be the 15th seed, but we can try to aim for the 13th seed and make sure that we can play our way around there so we can still maximize our chances to better our chances in the lottery. When it comes to playing teams having a better chance in the lottery, I'm for it because it feels as if a lot of these teams, when we talk about them, when we talk about the Miami Heat, they're stuck in no man's land. They have no pathway to compete for something meaningful unless they win the lottery and they get a player that is a true star player that can make that type of impact. So that is why I don't mind the 10th and 9th seeds getting a fair shot at the lottery. And the contrarian viewpoint that I had to it was this proposal isn't all the way wrong. It just has to be refined. I don't think it's right to penalize teams for sucking. But the reason why we are here right now is because most teams in the NBA, they build their teams with the sole intention to be bad. The Brooklyn Nets drafted 5 young players in the first round. In the offseason, they didn't add any players in free agency that can actually impact them to win games, even though they had a lot of cap space. They put out a roster that they knew was going to be bad. If you start not incentivizing teams to be bad and more teams have an even playing field in the lottery, you now force teams to make better decisions in the offseason. It's okay, I'm going to throw money at this quality impact player because I'm not afraid of being stuck in no man's land, because if I'm a mid team like the Miami Heat, it actually betters my chances in the lottery. So now you're forcing more teams to compete on a night-to-night basis. You're still going to get those teams that are clearly on different levels than the other ones. But then I can also understand the argument that for an expansion team like Seattle and Vegas that are coming along years from now, if this is in place, how are they going to get better when they're not drafting a top-end talent and they're drafting in the beginning of the expansion draft bottom of the barrel players that teams are actively not protecting to keep on the roster? It's going to be very hard for a team like that to instantly compete. But there's also a lot of teams that just miss on draft picks. You know, the Wizards drafting John Vesely over Klay Thompson is an organization issue. Organizations that are smart make smart picks, and that's how they become competitive. The Hawks drafting Ricochet when Stephon Castle was there at 4, and that would have been a better pick, or Alex Sarr would have been a better pick. Sometimes it's just on the team. So even though you reward a team with the number 1 overall pick, unless it's signed in steel that you're in a draft class where there's a clear number 1, those teams tend to make those mistakes. And I feel like with the NFL and the NBA, it's different because the NFL is 17 games. The season flies by quick. And these guys, they need to put out good tape to get signed by their next team because they don't have guaranteed contracts like in the NBA.
It's an amazing point. The guarantee money.
Their life is on the line every single snap, every single week. And if they don't play, that might reduce the chances of their money. So even if the organizations are trying to tank, you know that those players out there, they're going to want to play because they want to get paid because the contracts aren't guaranteed. It's a much lesser season versus the NBA. It's a very long season. It's very easy to disguise tanking. So unless you create a system that rewards winning and a team that is mid, like the Suns and the Heat and the Magic are in a great series right now, but let's another example is the Blazers. In order for them to take the next step, they need to get a great pick. So if you incentivize teams like, hey, listen, if you're competitive and you're around the 10th seed, 9th seed, you have a good chance to win the lottery, then now it's anybody's game. Teams can turn around in 1 year, and a team like the Blazers getting a top pick, it would be easier for them to get into contention status over a team like the Wizards getting the top pick. So I think the lottery odds, I don't necessarily believe that we just need to abolish it and give the worst teams the best picks, because then we're going to see tanking at another level. Every team's going to want to be bad. If there's no incentive to win, teams are just going to tank and wait for the NBA draft, and they're going to actively try to lose to get the higher position. So the NBA is in a weird spot because I think it is a problem, but I don't think it's as big as a problem as people make it out to be, to where this is what we have to be talking about when the NBA playoffs are going on.
That's 100% facts. And the guarantee money is an amazing point because it could lead to one issue. where you have players coming back early from injuries, whether it's like a Tyrese Halliburton come off a hamstring injury, soft tissue, and then he re-aggravates an issue. But in the NFL, if your guarantee money is tied to your availability in games, that's why you see players in those 17 games playing harder and playing at a higher level. The NBA's issue is that they have too many games, but they're not going to address that because they fear that they'll lose too much revenue, which may or may not be the case. But neither here nor there. I think the guarantee money is something they wouldn't affect. They wouldn't change that. That'd be another potential solution to tanking. Absolutely.
I'm going to be real. You did an amazing job of defending Adam Silver. Amazing job. The only real issue I have is still that you can't have the back-to-back number one pick, or because that's lottery. That's odds.
Exactly.
That's the only, you explaining it this way, I can hear that. I can level with that. It's the back-to-back years that you're not allowed to have a certain pick. That's where I disagree.
And it's also the worst 3 teams getting 2 lottery balls, the same as a 10th and 9th seed, because they need the most help on their rosters.
It's true.
Outside of the Pacers, the Pacers is a weird situation because Halliburton got hurt for the year. But for the most part, like the Brooklyn Nets getting the 10th overall pick in this draft would be devastating for their franchise. It would set their franchise back 3 to 5 years if they didn't get a top 3 pick, like legitimately.
But I look at the Utah Jazz. He's being strong worded, but I understand the sentiment. Again, they really, or you're not wrong. They fucking wanted to lose so badly this season. It was so blatantly obvious because they understand what one of these 3 players would do to their team.
They also knew they were ass.
That being said, the Utah Jazz have one of the best young coaches in Will Hardy. It's getting to a point where he's not so young anymore because he's been on this dog shit team so long, but he just keeps wasting away in this terrible organization because they constantly tell him, lose games, lose. Even though early in the season, we look at Utah and we're like, man, this is a fun, competitive team.
Yeah.
Every single year. And every single year, it hits that halfway point and they tell Will, shut it down. And they have to lose. And they get rewarded with nothing because they haven't really had. But Will Hardy finds a way to make the most out of a situation. And what he's been able to do with Keontae George is a testament to how great of a coach he is. Testament to how great Keontae's work ethic is, too. You ultimately have to go out there and execute. And that's what he does. But they constantly shut it down, and they constantly are, at the end of the year, one of the worst teams in basketball. Do I think they're one of the worst teams in basketball? I don't. Like, Billy Donovan lost his job because the Bulls were such a constant pit of mediocrity year in, year out. Is Billy Donovan the best coach? Probably not. Probably not. Is the roster terribly mediocre? Yes, it is.
Yeah, and I think that adding talent to the middling teams versus the bottom dwellers gives those middling teams a better chance to get to that higher tier. And now you have more teams competing for playoff spots because they're superbly talented. You also don't want to forget about the teams that are bad as well, because then they don't have an avenue to get better. So it's a tricky conversation, especially in light of OKC and San Antonio owning so many future picks of other teams, because this rule can end up benefiting 2 powerhouses in the NBA who own other people's draft picks. And now they're going to have just as good of a chance with that pick. Is like they're going to have just as good as a chance to get the top pick as one of the worst teams in the NBA. So maybe not the best time to implement this type of rule, but all in all, you have to give incentive to the Brooklyn Nets to say, hey, fuck it. Let's overpay Tobias Harris this offseason because we need some good NBA players. And it actually helps us that we're trying to win more games because we have the same lottery odds as if we didn't make any moves, that didn't sign any players. The fact that you are evening the odds so that teams are actively looking at the free agent market saying, you know what, we can sign this quality player instead of playing Bub Carrington 25 minutes a night. That is probably more meaningful. And you probably also will see more vets around the NBA that will stay around longer. Because now a team isn't thinking, oh, DeMar DeRozan, I don't want to sign him because he doesn't fit my team. You're thinking DeMar DeRozan, fuck it, why not? He's going to win me more games than I would the year before, and I'm going to have just as good of chances in the lottery to win the top pick. So there's no point to being bad as possible. So I think there's room for it to work. It just needs to be structured in the right way. But I do think the NBA season is way too long just to give the worst teams the best picks, because you're going to see a lot of teams tanking. But even now, I did this exercise on my own just looking at the bad teams and saying to myself, how many teams are tanking, or are they just ass? Are they just straight up bad? And I understand that some of these teams do choose to be bad.
Washington was tanking.
I do
They're
think
dead
that
both.
I
They're
do
ass
think the
and
Nets
tanking.
are ass.
The Nets.
I think
are
Utah
whack.
wasn't tanking.
No, Utah genuinely shut shit down. I don't think Keontae George's injury was season-ending.
But Laurie was, and Jaren was,
A few
and
years
Walker
ago,
Kessler
a
was.
few years ago, Laurie's getting shut down. It probably was.
That's a fact. I'm talking about just this year. Like Washington was purposely doing
You think
it.
Jaren was?
Yeah, I think Jaren was out for his injury. He was out for the year.
Washington was blatantly tanking.
I don't
But
think
They
some of
did
those
it in the
players
right
are-
way, though.
Some of the
Because
players like AD
At
were-
least Trey Young came back
Bro, they
and
weren't
tried.
playing their young
was-
players though.
That's a good point.
Sacramento was
Yeah.
just ass.
So I want-
Sacramento's
Sacramento was
ass.
generally hurt.
I
Yeah.
want you to just easily tell me they're tanking or they're just straight up bad.
Okay.
The Utah Jazz,
I think they were tanking.
I think they were ass.
They've been tanking for the last few years.
the Sacramento Kings,
Ass.
I think they were just not good.
Generally, ass. They're trying to. They're trying to be competitive.
the Memphis Grizzlies.
Ass.
They're
Not a good.
Everybody got hurt.
Shout out Ty though.
they
He's
traded
supposed to-
everyone. They shut it down, and also
They're
Cedric Howard at the end of the
No.
season was not playing.
Cedric got hurt in the beginning. He didn't
Edey
play
was
till late.
shut
Edey
down
kept
after.
getting hurt repeatedly. Then everybody just kept getting hurt. Ja got hurt. Jaren got hurt, and then they just traded him.
So they're just bad.
They weren't really tanking.
Yeah.
They made a lot of great moves.
They
and
did
had
have
a
a
lot of injuries.
unfortunate season.
the Dallas Mavericks,
They played well towards the end of the year. They were just not good.
I don't think they
I
were
think
good
they're
either.
just
Yeah.
trash.
the Pelicans.
They were ass.
They tried really
Bonafide.
hard.
Yeah, they're actually so bad.
Of the 5 teams in the West, we have one team that we believe is tanking, and the other 4 are just bad teams. Now let's go to the Eastern Conference. The Bucks.
Ass.
Ass.
They're trying so hard when they were trash.
Milwaukee also.
Well, they
Giannis didn't play.
Well, at the end, they
Towards
wanted
the
to
end, but
shut
for the
down
most part,
Giannis.
they were just
for the
not
first
good.
50 games they were trying.
The
Yeah, you're right.
the Chicago Bulls.
Ass. Well, they tried, and then they started.
Painfully.
Yeah.
Below average.
This is a bad team that was tanking.
They were trying in the beginning, and then they realized they weren't good. They picked a direction for once in their life.
For once.
So I'm going to say ass.
The Brooklyn Nets.
They are ass and taking.
Yeah,
They both. They're
The-
bad. I'd say they're more ass.
The
Yeah.
Indiana Pacers.
They were
They're
injured.
bonafide tanking.
They-
They're injured.
it was-
because of the injuries.
It
They're
was
tanking
it
as
was
far
a
as they
very
could.
glossed over tanking.
painfully tanking.
The Washington Wizards.
They were tanking.
Tanking.
They were
and
tanking.
They also kind of had to like Indiana because they had so many injuries.
So of the 10 bottom dweller teams, we got 3 teams at most that you can classify as just like blatantly tanking versus they're just bad. So at that point, you kind of do have to ponder with the idea of maybe we don't have to just overhaul the system entirely. Some teams are just bad. It's just as simple as that. So I understand where people are coming from both directions. And we'll see how it goes. We'll see how the vote goes, if they approve it or reject it.
I do think the Kings were bad. I also would classify them as tanking, though.
I don't think so. They signed all those veterans like Rush and Schroeder to try to be decent, and they're just a horrible
But
team.
I also think trading away De'Aaron Fox, Sabonis got hurt, got shut down for the season early.
But he tore.
Yeah, he had
Was
to
it
get surgery.
yeah,
meniscus?
Yeah,
yep,
get
yep.
surgery,
He
though.
got shut down early, and I think after that they were just like, let's
Bonafide
really fucking
garbage.
go all in.
Well, they
Part
would
of-
then they would have moved DeMar for nothing, but they kept Zach too.
Okay.
Part of this reform is that San Antonio overnight went from a top end lottery team to a 60-win squad because they had the top 5 pick for 3 years in a row.
They
And it's
drafted a generational talent.
reminiscent of Orlando, and they got back-to-back first overall picks. Took Shaq, then took Chris Webber, and flipped him on draft day for Penny Hardaway. And the same vein as an expansion team, they're in the NBA Finals like 4 or 5
You
years
don't think
in.
Chris Webber and Shaq would have been paying together?
It would have been.
Would've been pretty
And
tough.
then the NBA implemented a rule where an expansion team couldn't get the first overall pick for 5 years. Their first 3 years in existence.
That's kinda
Raptors
dog shit.
The Raptors became an expansion after their first year as a franchise. Damon Stoudemire won Rookie of the Year, so maybe they want to take a point guard. They got the first overall pick, and they would have won the lottery. And it was Allen Iverson's 1996 draft. They ended up with Marcus Camby, who was great also. But in theory, they could have had Allen Iverson because the Magic, the NBA, did not allow that. So I feel like the NBA has been a little bit reactionary in light of San Antonio. And as I'm saying that, the Nuggets are down by 7 at halftime. There's just no reason to be down, and the Wolves are down.
Well,
the
just
top
seeing the
3
leading
guards.
scorers, and Cam Johnson had 15, and
Cam's-
Jokic was nowhere to be found.
Cam-
Last portion of this podcast, we got John Carlos on because he's going to talk about some boxing. There's some big-time events this weekend. He knows better than I can explain to you, but I know it's Nakatani versus Inoue. Then we have Zurdo versus Benavidez, who they're calling the Mexican monster. Benavidez is, right?
Yep.
Exactly. But it's funny seeing you guys back in the same room together. You guys have been in the same room, just not on camera on the podcast. But how did you feel when the Lakers went up 3-0 after you said they were going to get swept?
Well, game one happened. I'm gonna keep it all the way a stack with everybody that's watching it. Game one happened, and I was like, damn, I'm gonna leave my hat on the KD shit. I'm gonna leave my hat on the KD shit. Yo, the best player is not playing. That's a good excuse. Yo, game two happened and they lost to Kevin Durant. I was like, wow, I have no excuses left. And then I was watching the game three when they blew like I believe a 6-point lead with like 25 seconds left. Thought they had that game in the bag. At that point, I lost the bet. I already paid Drew up like earlier in that game.
He did.
And I was just like, damn, like, yo, just for some pride, like, yo, don't get swept because you're gonna make me look crazy. They go down 3-0, and I'm just like, damn, like, yo, this is insane. Like, I could not believe it. And it was funny. Someone that runs the Pick Aside meme account today, he was like, yo, if the Lakers blow this 3-0 lead, Drew should give you your money back. But I stayed true to the morals. I say that wasn't the premise of the bet. The bet was that I said that they weren't going to win a game. Game one, he gave me some leeway with the KD not playing. Game two, Kevin Durant played, and they lost. So I'm a man of my word. Definitely looks crazy. I guess it's better now that they didn't get swept and it's 3-2 now. Maybe they force a game seven. I mean, it really doesn't matter to me anymore. Like, I already lost the bet, so yeah.
Hey, listen, the Rockets win the series. I'll easily give you your 50 back. I told you as is. I didn't want the money because to me, I didn't love the bet for you. But at the same time, if they win, I will have no problem giving you your money back because that's 4 straight games. And in a way, that is a sweep in its own right. But I didn't think it was the wisest bet in your part. I didn't.
So now we got you here on JC because as these major boxing events happen, we're going to try to dive into this because you know a lot about boxing. That's your expertise.
Yeah.
So first, just tell me all I need to know about the biggest marquee fight that you think is happening this weekend.
Okay. So if I'm taking my personal fan, I'm out of it because I'm a huge David Benavidez fan. I watched almost all of his fights coming up through his career. But if I'm being objective, I would say the Inoue and Nakatani fight is definitely a more stellar fight. It's for all the marbles. I mean, this is a fight that's been built up, I want to say, for like 3-4 years now. Completely different career paths. You know, you had Inoue becoming a world champion after like his 6th fight. You had Nakatani, he had to build his way up or whatever the case. Maybe he had a fight, had some rough fights in the beginning of his career. But he made his path to success just by grinding and, you know, becoming a mandatory and getting all these guys out the way. So different career paths, but when they both became world champions, we knew that this was inevitable. You got two of the best Japanese fighters in the history of boxing. Inoue is, in a lot of people's mind, regarded as the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world right now. I would tend to agree just because he's taken tougher fights. He fought, I believe, 4 times in a calendar year, which hasn't been done in a long time. He's fighting more difficult opponents than everybody. And with Terrence Crawford retiring, that was the only guy that I could really say maybe.
Benavidez?
No, because I believe for the most part, Inoue has fought better opposition. He's fought more ranked opponents. And this fight with Nakatani, if I'm not mistaken, is number 6 on the pound-for-pound rankings. So this is an amazing, incredible opponent. I believe he's 32-0. And I think we're in store for like a classic.
We're getting a lifetime fight right now?
Yes.
Damn.
I literally think so. They're both in their prime. I think Nakatani, I want to say he's 27. In a way, I want to say he's 30. So they're right smack dab in their prime. They were in a card, I want to say in December, where they both fought on the same card. The fight almost was in jeopardy of not happening.
Why?
Because, well, Inoue fought Alan Picasso and he dominated him.
Mm-hmm.
He made another champion, if I'm not mistaken, a good fighter. He looked like a novice in the ring with him. Inoue special. Nakatani, on the other hand, fought a tough Mexican named Sebastian Hernandez, who in the beginning of the first 5-6 rounds, Nakatani was controlling the fight. And then Sebastian Hernandez started putting his foot on the grass, started applying more pressure. And in my opinion, I saw the entire fight. In my opinion, I believe that he won. No. I believe that Sebastian Hernandez won. But if that were to happen, it would have messed everything up. This is a mega fight. They were talking about this for a year now at the Tokyo Dome. Like, this is a huge event. So they gave him This I believe it was a split decision, or no, it was a majority decision. One judge was 118 to 110, which is
What do you think?
absolutely
Like-
abysmal. That was a terrible scorecard, but whatever the case may be, we are here. I think we're in for a great fight. If you want a quick breakdown, in my opinion, I'm going to go Inoue by stoppage in the 10th round. I believe he has better combination punches. He's just a naturally more gifted fighter. He's aggressive. He has power. And on top of that, like I said, he has a great coaching staff with him in the corner, and he adjusts very well. And I just think that seeing how Sebastian Hernandez was able to kind of like fluster Nakatani, I believe Inoue he doesn't have the Mexican style where he's going to pressure you, but he can adapt, and he's a very smart fighter. So he could definitely take some notes from that, because Nakatani earlier on in his career as well struggled with another Mexican that I'm not remembering his name right now. But anytime you apply pressure to him, it's always been a problem. Now, the avenue as to where Nakatani could win, in my opinion, is this. We've seen Inoue get absolutely sparked by straight lefts. There was one time when he fought Luis Neri, and he was dropped for the first time in his career in the middle of the ring, got sparked to straight left. I want to say last year he fought Ramon Cardenas, same, second round, got sparked and was dropped. That's Nakatani's power punch. Like, that is his go-to. That is the same punch that he got one of the greatest knockouts that I've ever seen against Maloney, which was like, if you guys have time, look up how Nakatani absolutely sparked Maloney. It was one of the most insane knockouts that I've ever seen in my life. So Inoue has proven and shown that he is susceptible to that type of punch. But again, Inoue, in my opinion, we're in the Inoue era. He's an all-time great right now, in my opinion. And I just think, like I said, I think he's a smarter fighter. I think he's just better. I just think he's just overall better. He just checks more boxes than Nakatani. And I would like to see Inoue work the body, because Nakatani has a huge torso, and Inoue has been shown to stop a lot of people to the body. So I think we'll get a 10th round stoppage via body shot by Inoue, and I think he wins this fight.
On Polymarket right now, Inoue got a 78% chance to win this fight.
Oh, so this is heavy favorite.
Yeah, it seems like Inoue
So
is the heavy
Nakatani's fight
favorite.
versus
Sebastian Hernandez?
it ruined his reputation.
Well, that, and like I said, Inoue has been fighting a better competition. I believe he's 2-time undisputed. Like, he's on an all-time run
Inoue's
right now.
30.
Inoue's 30, yeah.
So let me ask you a question. This is different.
Mm-hmm.
So when Triple G and Canelo fought
Mm-hmm.
that first go round, they called it a draw. I think Triple G won that fight pretty comfortably, in my opinion. And then they had the rematch. It was close.
Yeah.
I would still argue Triple G won, but that was a lot closer. I'm okay with Canelo coming away with the W in that one.
So I agree with you. That first Triple G fight, I was scoring it, and in my opinion, I saw it 8-4. I could see 7-5, where Gennady Golovkin edged it out. I mean, me and you aren't the only one that feel this way. A lot of people felt this way. I wasn't really fond of the
ruined
score.
Triple G's legacy.
It
to a
literally
certain
did, because
degree.
he took I believe that was his first
Undefeated,
L.
Yes. Well, draw, and then an L.
And then he took an L the second fight, and then the third trilogy fight, he was freaking
it was
42.
over.
It wasn't. But I agree with you. That first fight,
But
I would have gave it a Triple G for sure.
I say that in the sense of that first draw with Canelo kind of opened my eyes to Canelo not being this dominant all-world pound-for-pound best fighter that we have in the game. Is that kind of what they saw with Nakatani versus Sebastian?
Well, like I said, in the beginning, well, if you go through Nakatani's career, because I was watching film on him a couple weeks ago, and if you go through his resume, for some particular reason, he struggles with an aggressive pressure fighter.
Okay.
And his two toughest fights in his career were the last one was Sebastian Hernandez, where I think he lost, and there was another one early on in his career where, he won the fight decisively, but it was getting scary within the middle of the rounds because the pressure was getting to him. So he's shown a weakness, like pressure can get to him. He doesn't fight the best off the front foot, and that's kind of like what you're gonna have to be a front foot boxer if you want to be Inoue. But Nakatani's good off his back foot, but like I said, Inoue's combination, his punch selection, just everything, I just feel like it's gonna overwhelm him. In my opinion, people are saying 50-50. I see it more 60-40.
Okay.
I think Inoue, like the great Max Kellerman says, fast twitchy. He's like, Inoue has everything in his package, and he's the more responsible defensive fighter. I know he got dropped a couple times, but I didn't think that he got dropped in the sense that he's not a good defensive fighter. A lot of the times that what Inoue does is he's so freaking good that he just thinks that he can't get touched. You know what I'm saying? Like he will go in with his guard down. And like I said, that's how Cardenas sparked him in the second round, and that's how Luis Neri got him with the same punch. So he's susceptible to that punch. But if he's on his P's and Q's and he's, locked in, which he should be, because this is going to be the toughest fight of his
Those
career,
levels. Mm-hmm.
I think that he wins this fight. Like I said, 10th round stoppage to the body. It's my opinion on it.
Now the next fight is the Benavidez versus Zurdo fight. Is this a closer fight?
I was gonna say they're saying that Benavidez should win comfortably.
Right now, I'm looking at the percentages on Polymarket because they have this fight on there right now.
Uh-huh.
Benavidez has a 66% chance to win this fight. And where does Benavidez rank on your pound for pound list? Because I know
On my
off the
personal list?
Yeah, off the podcast, you've spoken about him a lot. He has a great nickname, the Mexican Monster.
Yeah.
Where does he rank?
Look, pound for pound is subjective. He's probably right now that Terrence Crawford retires, probably my favorite fighter. I would say that he's definitely, he's in it, but I would say he's definitely in top 10 pound for pound. If I would have to put him anywhere, I'd probably put him 6 or 7. And
Okay, so he's a top 10 fighter. Then.
Oh, absolutely.
So in this fight, Benavidez versus Zurdo,
Mhm.
what's your prediction for the fight? Who do you have winning? And the opposite side of that is what's Zurdo's pathway to winning if you do have Benavidez?
Okay. So I do have Benavidez winning. And the reason why I have Benavidez winning is this. For starters, I think we spoke about this many times. He's very fast. He has very quick hands and he has power behind his punches. That's for starters. He's a relentless pressure fighter. And throughout the fights that have been going on in his career, he's gotten better and he's gotten more disciplined defensively. But I just think again, with the Inoue thing, I just think Benavidez is a step up. I believe he's more athletic. I believe he has better punch combinations. I believe he's faster. I believe he hits harder. And I just believe that he's just a more complete fighter. So that's why I think that he's going to win. You know what I'm saying? Benavidez is a pressure fighter. Zurdo Ramirez is not the most athletic guy. He doesn't really do anything special. The only thing I would say that Zurdo has going in his favor is I believe that he's probably going to be the best inside fighter that Benavidez has ever fought. And what I mean inside fighters, when they're in close range, when they're exchanging in the pocket, Zurdo has shown to throw lethal body shots, throwing good combinations inside. But again, you got to get inside. You have to stop this wrecking ball coming at you. And I just, it's
Zurdo's a little bit bigger than
that's another thing. They're fighting in cruiserweight. So this is Benavidez's first fight at cruiserweight. Zurdo's been here for a while. He's got 2 belts.
It's like his natural.
He's a unified champion here. He's got 2 belts. He's used to it. I would say that, like I said, the avenue for Zurdo was fighting inside, trying to tame the beast as much as you can. I think at distance, though, I do think from a distance, I also do think that Zurdo's shown to be, a better fighter than Benavidez, because a lot of Benavidez's fights is just, if nothing that you throw hurts him, then you're in for a long night. You know what I'm saying? You're going to either get stopped or you're going to get beat up for 12 rounds. So, like I said, I think Benavidez is winning solely off the pressure. I believe that everything is going to translate. He doesn't have to cut a lot of weight. In cruiserweight, he said that he's felt great. He hasn't had to, like I said, cut weight or do anything like extensive to his body. He's a naturally big guy. I believe he weighs around like 200, he said. Cruiserweight, he only got to lose a couple pounds for that. He said he hasn't even been running or anything, so he feels right at home. So I think he's going to win, but like I said, Zurdo, for him to win the fight, you're going to have to tame the beast. You're going to have to keep it at a distance. You have to score points inside. And, good luck fighting off the back foot.
Zurdo's only lost 1 fight, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Benavidez is undefeated.
Benavidez is undefeated. The one fight that Zurdo Ramirez lost to was Dimitri Bivol, who's another guy who's fantastic, who is a top 5 pound for pound fighter, in my opinion. If I'm not mistaken, I think Zurdo stepped down because there wasn't much going on at cruiserweight. I could be wrong, but I know that they met, and Bivol absolutely schooled him. Bivol's one of the best technical fighters on the planet. So I also think that if Benavidez and Bivol fight, I think that's going to be an extremely tough fight because Bivol's great on his feet, and like I said, very technical. It should be next. Right now, Bivol has a fight. I'm not familiar with the guy right now because nobody really knows who he's gonna fight. It's just a comeback fight because, like I said, he was coming off an injury.
Mm-hmm.
The Better Beef and Bivol trilogy right now doesn't look like it's gonna happen. Benavidez said after this fight that he has his eyes on either Bivol or Better Biev. I would say Bivol. Just Bivol's more active. I don't know what's going on with Arthur. I don't know if Arthur's hurt or All I know is he's not fighting. So we could possibly get that fight. But again, that fight would be at 175 pounds. So that, Benavidez would have to go back down to the 175 pounds for that fight to happen, because I don't think Bivol going up to cruiserweight.
So these are the two biggest fights this weekend. You can make your predictions on it on Poly Market using code PS26 for that access. Also a free $20. JC, thank you for giving your predictions on the fight. I definitely couldn't have explained that as well as you just explained it right now.
Oh, one more thing. I forgot to give my prediction how I think the fight is going to end with Benavidez and Zurdo. I think Benavidez is going to win 8 rounds to 4. I think the pressure will be too much. I probably think in the middle of the fight, Zurdo will probably catch on and steal some rounds. But I just think the flurries and just the constant pressure of Benavidez is it breaks everybody down. So I'm not picking against him. So I got Benavidez 8 to 4.
Yeah, and these are the two biggest boxing events this weekend. There's nothing else we need to really know about.
I mean, for my Canelo fans, it just got released by, I think, Coppinger or Max Kellerman, that he has a fight with Christian and Mbilli coming up. I think this is a huge fight. A lot of people really, I was reading the comment section, a lot of people really aren't familiar with Christian and Mbilli. Christian and Mbilli had an amazing fight with Lester Martinez on the undercard of that Terrence Crawford and Canelo fight. So, I'm expecting a good fight. And Billy's a pressure fighter. He's a guy that puts a bunch of punches together. He's undefeated. He's a champion. He's coming to win. Canelo historically does well against pressure fighters, but again, this is the same Canelo. He's 68 fights in his career. So this right here is going to be the fight. If he treats this guy like how he did James Kirkland, then Canelo's back. But if this is he could maybe lose. Maybe if he loses this or it's a tough bout, I don't know, man. The glory days of Canelo might be gone. So this is a huge fight. Like I said, if Canelo dominates Christian and Mbilli, then he's back. But it's going to be a tough fight.
So Earl Spence coming back?
Yeah.
That's cool. Good for him.
I'm a big fan of Earl Spence. I mean, he's fighting Tim Tszyu.
Unfortunately. But
Yeah. I mean, I
was
was
his
always
last fight against Crawford?
His last fight was against Terrence Crawford.
That's crazy.
When you lose like that,
he did kind of go on to hiding.
It does a lot. It does a lot to your career. Like Bernard Hopkins said, like when you lose like that in that fashion, it takes something out of you. And listen, I don't know what to expect from Earl Spence. Tim Tszyu hasn't really been that good his last couple of bouts as well. I don't know how the 3-year layoff is going to do Earl Spence, but, whenever Earl Spence fights, I'm rooting for him. And call me crazy, but I do think that he has the goods to still beat someone like Tim Tszyu. So we'll see if Big Fish is ready.
Earl Spence is far from a bum. He just ran into one of the greatest ever.
Of course. Yeah, he just ran. And like I said, in boxing, when you take that long off, like we just don't know.
You're right.
Ring rust and everything. But I'm rocking with Earl Spence. Tim Tszyu hasn't looked good his last couple fights.
Alrighty.
That's going to do it for this episode of Pick a Side Podcast. You guys can follow us on Twitter, Pick a Side Pod, on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at Pick a Side Podcast. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.